destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say,
I am.
I am.
Mama said that there will be days just like this. And there's this room, Philip. Be sure, and I mean just that, be sure to hit that like button. Sharing is caring. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Law Nation's groove? From my studios to yours, brought to you by Law Nation Sports. Put a 1 in the chat if the audio is straight. No San Fran audio here. 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good evening. Come on with it. Jerry, what are you saying, Jerry? Jerry!
You're talking about blessed.
Jerry, I can't hear you, Jerry.
Sometimes I think the world is in when we tumble that something up. Or when we get stopped. And then all of a sudden, something will go off and say, Jerry, aren't you glad you're sitting here watching the damn game? Now, come on. And so that's what thinking about your mortality has done for me over a period of time. And it just made me proud to get to do what I do.
You're relatively open. Everybody
does
knows
what he
does.
does.
Everybody knows what you're all about. And you're usually very open about a lot of different things. This is not something that you were that open about, as understandably so.
Okay.
What made you decide to let the world know now, as opposed to earlier, or as opposed to at all?
Well, it kind of slipped, frankly. I had gotten a little emotional in going through the docuseries on Netflix.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back into some areas that it wasn't quite as much fun as I kind of remembered it being. And maybe some of it hurt a little more than I might have thought. I look back, and the man upstairs has a way of making us look over those things. But more important than anything, when I look at something like that 15 years ago,
Yeah. So we'll be back and forth on that particular conversation. He is live on the Stephen A. Smith show. I think it's pre-recorded premiere video that they're doing. Shout out to Jerry Jones. I appreciate everybody for being part of this. Now, so that we can get this show on and popping, do me a huge favor. Just do me a huge favor. Hit the like button. Share this content. Let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. The whole point of it is that Micah Parsons still is under contract. He got 3 years that Jerry Jones ultimately still have full control of over him based off of the simple fact that how contract works. You can franchise tag him twice, and on top of that, he's already playing on his 5th-year option. So he got technically 3 years. So if the Cowboys want to have him, they got him, right? There's nothing he can do. He can't be traded unless Jerry Jones cave in and say, okay, this is a deal ultimately that I cannot refuse, right? And that's just for what it is. He owns and holds the rights to Micah Parsons. That's the reality, Cowboy Nation. We may say this and that, but here's the other part of it. Now, I'm not trying to draw a wedge in between Micah Parsons and Jerry Jones. But in actuality, if anyone thinking that Jerry Jones is innocent of all of this, right? If anyone thinking that Jerry Jones did nothing wrong with how he's handling this particular contract negotiation, then you, my friend, is ultimately a part of the problem, because at the end of the day, can somebody put down how many years it's been since we lifted up that Lombardi trophy, right? And is this the first run around of, as it relates to Jerry Jones and agents, right? Like people acting as if though David Mulugeta is the only problem with this whole entirety of contract negotiation. People to a point saying, well, look at T. Higgins. He fired David Mulugeta. And they then in return didn't even understood the whole assignment of why T. Higgins fired David Mulugeta. And then didn't understand that if you can use ChatGPT and type up the top 10 worst Dallas Cowboys contracts, right? You will see a guy named Rocky Arsenal, right? That is who T. Higgins fired, fired David Mulugeta for, So at the end of the day, you can't say it from both sides of your mouth or outside of your neck, because at the end of the day, agents, that's what they do. They are for the players. That's the realities of it, Cowboy Nation. And Jerry, as we all know from any businessman, you want to be able to squeeze a deal. Buy low, sell high. That's a reality of it. But for anyone to sit back here and think that Jerry Jones is ultimately innocent in this situation is crazy. It's ignorant, it's foolish. All of those things combined. Because he have a proven track record that these things have been drawn out way too long, longer than Jay Leno's chin. And it's crazy. But Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing. Because when you are locked up for a long period of time and abused and punished and spit upon for a long time, some people get accustomed to it. Some people say, hey, I want it, I need it, right? And then from the outside looking in, you be like, how in the world can they take that abuse and now that they are free, they go run back to the abuser? And that's where we at right now to most of the Cowboy fans. They're still sitting here thinking that the billionaires are right on the millionaires. I can't make this stuff up, Yeah. And listen properly. I want you guys to listen with your ears.
I got you.
I want y'all to listen.
Jerry hasn't changed. Jerry is as resolute as ever. And his mentality is that I got you under contract for the next 3 years. This is last year your deal under the rookie scale. And then I can franchise tag you next year, and I can franchise tag you the year after. You ain't gonna walk around here acting like you got leverage that you don't have. I'm talking about Jerry. That's not me. I'm talking about, you asked me what my perception of where he's coming from is. His perception is that I got you locked in for 3 years. You ain't going nowhere unless I say so. And that makes obviously a lot of people uncomfortable when you're listening to Jerry Jones. I love the fact that we played that sound. And by the way, it'll be posted on my show, the Stephen A. Smith Show on YouTube, starting at 12 noon, the minute that First Take is over. That's when it'll be up on YouTube in its entirety. It's over an hour long. And I think the thing that resonated with me is that he said, I didn't call him, he called me.
Most certainly. Shout out to you, Mary Lon. Thank you for even attempting to shoot this super chat. And also, shout out to Sadiq Charles. Thank you so much for the PayPal. We really appreciate you and your hard work and dedication for the nation. Prayers up to Sadiq Charles, too, by the way. That was Micah Parsons' first initial fault is to go into the bear's den, cave, or the lion's den, thinking that he's the big lion, and he got ate up. That joker got ate up in there. They say that when you start negotiating with a shark, a lion, a bear, just make sure you got your escape hatch. Did I get it? No, I didn't get it, Mary Lon. But I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you this year.
He wanted to start this negotiation. We had a negotiation. We agreed. And then the next thing you know, he calls on the phone and says, don't call me anymore. I didn't hear that before. I don't know if that was the truth with Micah. I offered Micah to come on the show. Micah, he declined. He did not come on the show. I offered his agent, David Mulugeta, to come on the show. He hasn't come on the show. I'm not saying there's no negative or positive to it. I'm just letting you know. I offered all of them to come on the show. Jerry Jones didn't hesitate, and that's his position. And so, for me, it's at a standstill right now. I ultimately believe they will reach an accord because I think that Micah, I think he's going to get his money. I think that Jerry is being as stubborn as he always has been, as counterproductive as he always has been when it comes to signing contracts a little bit later than they should have been signed because you're compromising your cap. But the biggest reason I feel that way is because he is stubborn. He is unapologetic about it. He swears he's changed and modified himself to some degree. I don't believe that. I told him, I haven't seen any evidence of that, Jerry. Okay? But that's where he's coming from, and that's what it is. Jerry hasn't changed.
Jerry hasn't changed. Shout out to you, Bobby. Yeah, he said, looks like Jerry's getting younger. Good news. He do look a little younger than what he was. Maybe that Bohemian Grove ritual with the blood sacrifice is working now because he do look a little bit younger than what he did earlier.
I had lost all patience. I had danced with the devil. That when that time hit after winning 2 Super Bowls.
Man, come on with the new story, Jerry.
Normal times when you would have said, we'll work through this and hell of a job, we'll get through this and all that. I was void of tolerance. I didn't want any shit. And so that had everything to do in my mind, from my perspective, of why we made a change. Well, this documentary starts touching on that stuff. And like I told you, I can almost get sad talking to you.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see what he said.
This docuseries, America's Team, the gambling is Cowboys, might very well expose the very thing that people complain about when it comes to you. As brilliant as you are, you're stubborn as hell because you've been there. And this is what you've done, and you're highlighting and crystallizing what you went through in order to get the Dallas Cowboys to be worth, according to the latest reports, $12.8 billion, at least $2 billion more than any other, NFL franchise, and then some. Is it a concern of yours at all that this very series we're talking about on Netflix right now will reveal, hey, Jerry's got some good points, but this is also the very thing that gets in his way?
You know how much I appreciate interest being relevant.
Yes.
And I know you know that.
Yes, I do.
And you in your own way, or
shout out to you, Lookout, KC.
A case for old Jerry when sometimes you're as critical as you are. But relative to, I'm going to go all the way back. Sure. Now, this isn't the kind of stuff that serving in.
All right, man. We'll be bouncing back and forth. God, no. But appreciate y'all, man. I want you guys to understand this right here. What is the focus point of the Cowboys this season? Are we here to have these type of conversations? Or are we here to win games?
Bobby Schmurder, $5. I'm getting Dallas fatigue. How do you guys subject yourselves every year to this bull jive? No focus on the Eagles. Going to be a long year.
Going to be, oh my God, Bobby, you appreciate you for your support, your love, and adulations for the nation. I really appreciate you, man. Right where I was going, man, look at that. The synergy right here. The synchronicities right here, bro, is that we fight amongst ourselves. Don't y'all understand that no good will come out of this regardless of whether or not Micah Parsons get his bag or not? King Solomon, there was a lady that was arguing with another lady about whose child is this. And the natural birth mother was saying that this is my child. And the other lady was like, no, this is my child. So King Solomon come up with an idea. Won't you slice the child in half? You get yours and you get yours. And the natural birth mother said no. Regardless of the situation, you guys fall into the trap regardless. Because the trap would be, if Parsons get paid, people going to ultimately say, with all of that guarantee money, with all of those things that you got paid now, we got to win the Super Bowl only because you get paid. Now the spotlight is even brighter on Micah. If Micah get traded, oh, we should have kept him. Oh, man, he would have been able to work numbers with us. All we had to do is continue to build around him. It's a lose-lose situation. And by the way, by the Cowboys waiting too long and too long to pay said Micah Parsons, it also damages the other money that you can free up to get more and more resources, more and more pieces here. But people refuse to just listen. In the business structure, we've been talking about this. It's going to be more than 30 years because the focal point is not winning games. It's not about winning games. You got a rookie head coach. You got a new defensive coordinator trying to install his philosophy, his principle, and people will say, hey, man, Micah is going to get signed. He's going to play. But at to what level? Yeah. On top of that, Dallas Cowboys for life, law, we are doomed. Yeah. Because at this point, if it was Todd France, y'all will be saying, hey, man, Todd France greedy. If it was Rocky Arsenal, hey, oh, man, Arsenal is greedy, right? If it's David Mulugeta, oh, man, he's greedy. Everybody's greedy but the billionaire. Let that sink in. And all we want to do is see our team win. Not this drama. Yeah. And Steve Fox says it looks bad to other players on this team that's pending free agents. Yeah. You got to figure out a way to have some type of infrastructure installed and put into place so that this particular situation will never happen again. And for people who pick sides and say, hey, man, it's the agent fault and all of this, well, welcome home, George Pickens. Malik Hooker to a degree, Sam Williams to the degree, yeah. All of these people is signed under David Mulugeta's or Athletes First or First Athletes, however you say that organization. Everybody greedy. Yeah, Micah Parsons is greedy. Or it's called getting paid what you're worth, right? Ryan Shazier was greedy until he laid out on that field and can't move, right? Then everybody said, hey, pay that man. Can barely move. Everybody's greedy if that's the point. Like Lisa said, it's business. Nothing personal. Appreciate you. Nothing personal. And I know Lisa, she works in the medical field. We do know that in certain variations there could be treatments to treat people. But in business, what benefit would it be if they can treat everyone, right? So they put up policies, they put up procedures, they put up things that you will have to pay. How valuable is a life? Unless you have insurance. Where you stand at in life. Who gets seen first? Oh, you got Medicaid? Nah, we ain't seeing Medicaid people today. Why? Hey, doctors saying, oh man, I had signed an oath to be able to insure people that I'm going to pay close attention to said person, right? But then again, there are some people that look at it and say, hey man, hey, at the end of the day, man, we don't take Medicaid. Why? I can't say because I'm greedy. Because they don't pay out. That's life. Other countries, health insurance free or health care is free. What happened to the land of the free, home of the brave? Not here. But I don't want to get too deep within the confines of that. Avarice, greed shall conquer us all.
Don't forget to hit the
Percentage.
situation.
They're in here to make their percentage. They're in here to basically, yes, advise Micah. Come over to the office and I'll show you exactly what I offered Micah. We got it in the back. It's with all written down, everything to go. Come down and look at that.
I'm going to get over there and see that.
You can sure look at it. You can sure absolutely look at it. Here's my entire point. My point.
What's your point?
That basically says this is ultimately recognizing we're trying to come together for an agreement, but absolutely, who is it that can go with it? And so the facts are, I don't know that I've ever been around. I've never tried to buy anything. I've never tried to do anything that I actually was going to bring all of the services and somebody else was going to do all the money. But because the in-between guy wasn't exactly the guy that I had fit there, that kept you from doing the deal. That's exactly what's happening here. So many times in this industry.
Hey, Ocho, what you didn't hear him say is what I've been telling you. He said Micah Parsons is under contract for 3 more years.
That's been brought up by multiple times. I still hold the rights for 3 years. That's a long time from here. And the stubbornness of it all will also embodies the fact that I don't have to adhere to whatever you trying to do. I own you. You my property. And when it's time for me to get things going, then I'll decide to move on. But you are property of Jerry Jones, of me. I own you.
Oh, mother-dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it.
I'm not going for it. No. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Got a super chat.
Marilyn Blossom $10. I really hope they get a deal done, but Jerry is totally disrespecting this man. He won't admit it, but he will regret it if Parson leave eventually, pensive face.
Yeah. The thing is that Jerry knows that he had the high card. There's no leverage that Micah really have outside of sitting out, not playing. That's the reality of it. At the end of the day, yeah, Brian Robinson to the 49ers. Yeah. Whew. And they got the easiest schedule in the league. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's good stuff for them. I can't wait to talk to my brother about it. Albert says, ain't no man worth $2 million a week to play football. According to your pockets. Because when we start talking about evaluations and worth, it's about the demand. And it's always been economics 101, supply versus demand. And when the demand is there, the money follows. Right? Let me say this again. When the demand is there, the money follows. The NFL shields out the players' money at percentages at a time. When we start saying that the Cowboys is one piece of it, but collectively $111 billion with a B is what one TV contract is. I'm just talking about one. So when we start talking about value and worth, the players is not getting all of that $111 billion. To these billionaires, $2 million is considered damn near like $200,000 to them. Capitalism, yes. Value for value, Cass, yes. So when we start breaking down worth and value, we have to look at the total picture. For a 30-second commercial is damn near $90 million for the Super Bowl. That's 30 seconds. Or $9 million or some crazy number like that. How valuable is that to get your product in front of people so that demand can be there? That's economics 101. This is a crazy ideal to think that these guys are putting on a show and risking their lives for entertainment. Now, when we start talking about worth and value, the most valuable person that you can be around when growing up and coming through school will be your teacher, because they can teach you the information that can help open up and unlock doors for you to make unbelievable money. And they don't get paid. So that means knowledge is free.
Darren Posey, $5. Law: if the defense plays lights out while Micah holds out, Buddy loses all his little leverage he had.
To that degree. But even if they do ball out, that also notes that they could be even better. And DP, I appreciate you. Ooh-wee. But let's break this down unto a real level. In 2022, the Cowboys finished the season 12-5. The exact same record that they had previously. But from a record base, it doesn't tell or preaches the same story. Because even though we finished out 12-5, the same record that we had previously, we only had one true wide receiver, which was CeeDee Lamb. And what people would do is they would say, hey, without Amari Cooper, we still finish off 12-5. Meaning that we are still just as good as we were the previous year. But I come here to tell you that we were not. And just because you may have won a few games, which NFL is parity in the league or what have you, when it get down to playoff time, things condenses a little bit more. 9 times out of 10, the team that's well off and not top heavy, that's well prepared for those opportunities. If you have a little slippage, a little drop off, you need other guys to stand tall. But what will happen here is that if we do just enough to get around and get by, we begin to psych ourselves up and say, hey, in the last 30 years, 30 seasons, we have been just as a winning team as the Chiefs. We have been just as a winning team as the Patriots. We are the 6th winningest team in the National Football League according to Jerry Jones. But imagine if we just focus a little bit more, a little bit better. That's what's the difference between being a successful team in the postseason versus being a 4-win team in the last 30 seasons. Because all it takes is one extra player to get you over the hump sometimes. All it takes is for you to go out there and get that one playmaker that can be a difference maker. But we sit back and sit here and debate ourselves and say, hey, Noah Brown is just as good. Hey, a 34, 35-year-old T.Y. Hilton is just as good. Hey, this is ridiculous, Cowboy Nation, and that's why we are at the same doorsteps that we've been in. Because the inability to see down the line and make the necessary adjustments, to go out there and make the necessary fill-ins. Marquise Bell was just as good as LVE. But he wasn't a true linebacker to fit in that particular spot. He was a weak spot. And we was getting by. So I come here to tell y'all, yes, we need a Parsons here. Regardless if we win week 1, week 2. Yeah, don't forget James Washington, yeah!
G Cuddy $9.99. Law, why do these folks always want to side with Jerry against the players? He don't love them like that.
Oh my, yeah. Yeah. If you think I'm lying, yeah, ask $300 just to get to the VIP side in Oxnard, and you get there, and it's not a guarantee that the players will be on that side, and he cares about those individuals, right? So yeah, it is crazy. You're right. Why do these poor folks? Because for one, they never read a contract. For two, if they are in the same mindset of looking at a contract, they don't understand that the languages in the contract could void a lot of things that they are banging on the table for Micah Parsons to blindly accept. It's crazy. And I get it. Micah Parsons, he's not unscathed. He got his own faults as well as.
Darren Posey $5.
David Mulugeta.
With all this Micah talk, we forgot about Diggs, one tech and corner, Jerry sweeping other issues under the rug.
Amen to that. Shoot.
Yeah, on paper.
You right. On paper, man. Shoot. Woo. But people will put cover over it and say, hey, Jerry Jones don't deal with the contracts. That's Steven. They work hand and foot together. Well, foot me this right here. Get you a defensive tackle. Make sure that you find a veteran DB to complement this. Make sure you do that. Sadiq Charles, appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Let the AI speak upon this.
Sidika Charles $20. Law, I pray everyone is well with your family. But I have to go because this contract thing is draining me mentally.
Yeah, it is.
Jerry and David both need to fix all this BS. Not only is it affecting the fans, also Micah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on paper.
You ain't lying, shoot.
Let's go, man! Let's go!
Always does. Always does.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's there? Guess who is there? Wanting to be there, if no other reason, to protect my relationship, to protect the Cowboys and what have you. But as that document has said, I'm there. I'm there with district attorneys. I'm there with all the other guys. That's why I want to do it, and that's why we want to. Michael came in from Saudi Arabia, called me from Saudi Arabia. coming in.
Michael Irvin.
Micah
Parsons. Got it.
Coming in, want to talk. Now, he says he didn't want to talk
This is in
necessarily
March.
about a negotiation, but he wanted to talk.
March.
Okay. Jerry, can I have your cell number? I don't ever give anybody my cell number.
That is true.
I want to give you my cell number. We negotiate, we go back and forth, we come through, we go the next day, we negotiate, get it all done. I get a call, I don't want you to call me anymore. Micah, don't call me anymore.
He said
so
that
we
to
haven't
you?
called.
Micah Parsons said to you, I don't want you to call me anymore.
Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
After calling you,
That's correct.
and igniting a negotiation,
and
he turns
changing our
around and
numbers,
exchanging
and we
numbers
negotiate,
and
and then don't
negotiating.
call me anymore.
And then he called you back and said, don't
My
call, I
agent-
don't want
my
you to call me
agent-
anymore.
The agent calls, he says, we need to start a negotiation with Micah. Guy says, well, we have negotiated, we'll send you over the deal. Proverbially, just keep it. I won't tell you where to put it, but just keep it.
Shove it up
We're going
there.
to start a negotiation. Okay? We've had the negotiation, period.
Jerry,
Get him.
somebody picking up the phone and calling you, negotiating with you, and Micah's a brilliant brother. He's smart. I certainly didn't mean to cast any kind of come across
And
trying
by
to
the
cast
way,
any
it's not a
aspersions on him.
signed contract,
I know it's not
which
signed.
makes it no contract.
Understood.
Oh, now you say that, but keep
I'm
going.
certainly
Yeah.
not trying to dilute or minimize his intellect by any stretch of the imagination, what he's capable of. I'm simply pointing to you. I'm saying I get where you're coming from. But Jerry, you are a billionaire. I understand the GM. I'm talking to the GM, not just the owner. But considering your extensive experience negotiating over the years, what about a pass? What about he's 25, he's 26, he made a mistake. All right,
you
I'll
can't
talk to
use
his
that,
agent
Stevie.
'cause he
Come
is an
on,
elite
man.
player for us. He's going to help us win football games. What about that thought process?
Stephen,
He gonna say I negotiated
you
my
see,
deal.
look across the first field
Lord.
and look out
Come
at
on,
the
Stephen A.
red border. That would be the top
Yes,
pilot.
I'm looking at it.
I stood there on our last day of mini camps talking with Micah. Have your agent call me. Have
told
your
him
agent
that?
call me, yes.
You
Have
told
your
him that?
agent call me. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Okay. My point is, in the spirit of
What's your point?
not doing the old mother-dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not gonna get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner.
Man, most of our people didn't grow up in
Goes back
two-parent
in and
households,
says,
bro.
Mama, daddy said I could have it.
Yeah.
That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not gonna go for that shit here. That's what's happening.
You're not going for it.
I'm not going for it. No.
Does that mean?
No, I'm just sitting down, and what I've said, I've asked people to come in and sit down and work through it. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable for this to work?
Micah.
And who else?
You.
Hello. There's not room for a third. There's not room for a third. This will be a good one. This will be a good one.
Are you willing? Not that you have to, because like you said, you got him under contract for the next 3 years.
Thank you. That's all you need to say.
Wait a minute.
What's your point?
No, Jerry, because he has asked to be traded. How did that hit you? Based on what you just articulated in terms of a conversation you had with him.
Shout out to you, Bobby.
He called you. You didn't call him. You exchanged numbers. Then he turns around and tells you, according to you, don't call me anymore. Call my representation. And then, in the aftermath of all of that, he's asking for a trade. How are you feeling at that particular moment? I know you said it's just business. It's a negotiation. But how are you feeling when you heard the news that he demanded or he asked to be traded?
Well, first of all, let's go to the personal aspect of it. I sat with Micah one of the times that I've done that with a player. I sat with Micah at the Super Bowl, and I sat with him at the Big 12 championship game, he and his family, and we have that kind of relationship. I mean, I feel very comfortable about Micah, the person, involved. I feel very, very comfortable about that. So how do I feel about it? How I feel about it is that there takes two to tango here, not three. There takes two. And we can sit down. It's completely ludicrous. You can have papers that high going through, and add two more to his agency, and we'll add one more to the attorneys and go through the detail of a contract. That's BS about you've got to have somebody to do the paperwork. And
True that, Jerry.
What I'm saying, generally,
we understand that.
I
agree with that.
with what you're saying, Jerry. If you and Mike are of the same accord,
right.
If he is of the mindset that he feels his representation needs to be there with him because that's where his comfort level lies.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with that either because that's the way it goes in this day and age with players and representatives.
Thank you. Let me tell you the way it goes too this day and age. Dak came in 3 years ago, and wanted to redo an existing contract. We didn't get it done, and he played under the contract that he had. And then we tried again, and we didn't get it done, and he played under the contract he had. That's the way it goes. That is the way it goes.
How did it work with the team?
That's what happened. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have any order in any of this stuff around the league. So my position is real clear. Now, what am I doing? You hit on something a minute ago. You said, well, Jerry, all your money, all of that kind of stuff, and what have you. This isn't my money. This is the team's money. This is the money that goes to building the team. Every team in the NFL gets a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And a certain way to pay it out.
Let me go pull it up.
Over the years. Everybody has the same. It is very competitive on who does it better there, just like blocking and tackling, the one that does it the best. And the ones that can get Micah, the greatest supporting cast around him, that's the ones that will end up having the most success. That's what's going on here. It's not about me begrudging Micah getting $1 that I'm coming out. I don't think anybody misunderstands that. No. I'm sitting here trying to put
we ain't on top 10
in the way that
far
we
as that
see
salary
is the best
cap
way to put it on the field. Now we need Micah to win. We do need.
Do you feel that way?
Well, of course I do.
Okay.
Of course, I do feel like that. We need him to win. And I'm confident we'll have Micah to win. I can't imagine anybody sitting out for 3 years at all for that kind of go.
So is that
I will say this, we sure need to do a good job here. I do, we do, the Cowboys.
Better job.
The terms that we get Micah and the other players to play.
Let me put you on the spot. Are you saying that Micah needs to be willing to sit out for the next 3 years before he wears another uniform other than the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, let me say this, because we passed on that right there. As you well know, an existing player on a team, if somebody is talking to him or his, that is a tremendous violation.
Tampering.
You can get a lot of draft picks if somebody should happen to be talking about that. Other than me, other than an assignee of mine, or other than me,
What's your point?
Any talk of trading is BS. There's nothing to it. It's just nothing to it because everybody knows that you're not going to play for 3 years. Everybody knows that. That's not going to happen. And everybody knows that Micah's a key ingredient for it. Key ingredient. Does this sound familiar to you? How about Emmitt Smith?
You know where I'm going with that.
I saw it in your eyes.
You know that. You know how I am. Now this man, now, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me remind the audience about you and Emmitt Smith. This man won the first Super Bowl championship for you in '92. He's the leading rusher in the league with over 1,700 yards. He's leading the league in touchdowns. He was third in league MVP voting, and you still made him miss the first 2 games because you couldn't reach a contract accord with him. You missed it with 0-2 before you ultimately signed him because Jimmy Johnson was losing his mind, and then you brought him, and then obviously you repeated the Super Bowl champions. We go back to that.
Well, can we keep going with that, though?
You want a Super Bowl?
And the way you're doing it. Wait, don't just say it, that low-tone stuff. I want that Stephen A. stuff.
No,
he missed 2 games,
because
but then you
let me
rolled
pause it right quick. I know it's live, but I got to make some corrections on this, ladies and gentlemen. As much as I'm banging the table for Micah Parsons to be here and get paid and all of this good stuff, let's be real. Let's say it all together. He ain't no Emmitt Smith, who had 18 touchdowns that season, led the league in rushing, had in the postseason, I believe, 5 or 6 touchdowns there, and what he did in that Super Bowl. That's 2 different positions, 2 different kinds of caliber of responsibilities as it relates to how much he touched the ball and how much impact that Emmitt had. Keep this in mind on your mental mindset too, with that front 5 offensive line. There wasn't like that there was a gaudy number of guys that was drafted in the first round too on that offensive line. People takes big dumps on Emmitt Smith's career. And by us doing that, you got to add in the fact that we did have at that time Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy Johnson is light years ahead of this rookie coach, Schottenheimer, at this point in time of his career.
There in front of millions of people and won the Super Bowl.
You won the
Finish
Super Bowl.
it up.
You won the Super Bowl, but what
Be
I remember,
fair with your viewers.
I am going to be fair with my viewers by saying this, Jerry Jones. Emmitt Smith, to this day, at that time, the contract was 4 years, $13.6 million, which was a record contract for a running back in the National Football League. You gave him those dollars, but he had to miss the first 2 games after winning the Super Bowl in order to pull it off.
Do you
and I've never
agree
seen
that he
anybody
wanted
that
more?
upset.
Do you agree that he wanted more than that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, do you agree that he wanted more than that? And to his credit, by the way, Emmitt Smith and I are business partners.
Yes.
We do business together.
And
I can't tell you how much I think of him and the way to go. Mm-hmm. But Emmitt, who, my goodness, he defined it. When he stepped back, we started winning. Before we had him, we weren't winning. Before we had him that season, it stepped back. But candidly, the dream was to have quarterback dollars and be the highest paid quarterback.
That's fair.
And so we had to get our thinking right so that we would be highest paid running back, not highest paid X. Okay. I'm sure if this had been at that time, you'd have been saying, but Jerry, you should pay him like the highest paid player in the NFL.
No, I would have said highest paid running back. I wouldn't have done that to you. I wouldn't have done that to you, Jerry. I would have said the highest paid running back, not the highest paid everything. No, I wouldn't have given that.
No, but I'm saying that with all due respect to everybody concerned. Let me tell you this. Everybody's family supporting them. Everybody should want, this is America, everybody should want to have the best, the maximum. Because when you're at a spot of demand, that probably doesn't come along again. So everybody should want that. Anybody that has had a chance to do what I've had to do is one of the biggest proponents of getting paid of anybody you've ever seen. I believe it.
You're 1,000% right, Golden.
About how hard it was for you to pay primetime Deion Sanders. How you had to walk around and pace around a little bit before you cut that check to get that man here. I remember that story. And you had the money, but it was killing you to give it to him. But you ultimately had to, right?
I've got to say this, just because it meant that much. That's about a 30 or 40 minute flight where I grew up from Dallas. And Deion was paid $13 million bonus. Well, about 5 years earlier, all I had was 12. Now you say all you had was 12, but this idiot gave it to buy the Dallas Cowboys at that time. Here I was going to pay him 13 bonus, Deion Sanders. I got Michael first, and I said, this is what we're going to pay him. You good? He said, Deion Sanders, pay the man, pay him. Then I turned around with Troy and Emmitt, and then I took it to the entire team and showed him exactly what we were paying him. Do we want him at the time? Then I took and flew back over to my home. And I walked down that old street, saw those old cracks, the same ones I'd seen when a quarter was everything, and a crack in the deal, saw the old tree that I chopped myself, the bark off of it. I thought I had lost my way. I've gotten out of perspective on financial. And then I turned around and went back, saw the same guy sitting on the porch that might have been sitting there when I was a kid and coming down the deal. I looked at that old house I lived in, I said, that was then, this is now. We're going for it. We're going for it. And yes, you're right. I did pay Deion more than anybody had ever paid at that time. And I'll do it to win.
And you'll do it.
I will do it to win. What you're
Won't
doing
do it now.
Now is you're doing it, which is common. When one gets it in the NFL player, it's dollars his teammate does not get. Do we agree on that?
We do agree on that.
Okay, there is a limit as to what you can pay. Should I to be doing my job, not win the award on getting the contract signed, I should be winning the award on trying to get it balanced so we can have all the players that we can afford. Okay, great players, yes, but more importantly, how about putting some players out there that can win a Super Bowl?
That's a pretty
How
damn
about-
hard argument to make when you're paying Dak Prescott $60 million.
There you go. But last year you were talking, or I don't know if you were or not, to be fair to you. But my point is, if everybody becomes the highest,
Right.
then all of a sudden you've got to have less of those players, okay, or more. And so you have to think about, boy, that amount of, don't forget, well, it's Micah, any player, could that get you 3 Pro Bowlers for that player?
You got
You
the
know what
Eagles
the
right
odds
there
of
with
having the
$29 million.
Having 2 of the 3 available for a year or 2, you know what the odds when you pay that money and that you could not have them available and then the team, nobody would be getting the money. Happened to
Just
us last
bring
year with
up
Dak
how in the hell the
Prescott.
Eagles
Couple
are
weeks
able to
after
do
we,
it.
did it, and we didn't have him for the year. That stuff happens. That stuff is, in a way,
Come on, Steven.
you've got to think about that when you're putting your team together.
Throw
So is that
up.
a way
of-
How
is that a
many
way of saying
times
it's worth
other
thinking
teams
about
are able to do that
I
then?
mean, Micah Parsons, because I consider him the face of the franchise. I consider
He's-
him your best player. I'm not going to lie to you. That's how I look at him. I don't know how you look at him, so maybe I should ask that question first. How do you view Micah Parsons? I know you think he's a great player and very, very important. I consider him the face of the franchise.
He's
What
Parsons
do you
cool,
say to
but
that?
he's not the
I'm
face of
glad
the franchise.
that you recognize that. We got him for 3 years no matter what.
He's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Somebody come to you and offer you
No,
a couple
but
of
I'm
first round
your
picks, a couple of all-pro players.
Best player on. Shake my hand again. We got him. And we got him for 3 more years. And
Somebody
we can
comes
go
along
out-
with a couple of
we're
Pro
gonna play
Bowls and a
lot
couple of
games.
first round picks, Jerry. What you
I'm
gonna
not
do?
hearing no. I got this thing static coming in here somewhere. I'm getting overrun here.
I'm just asking. I want to make sure that
Okay.
nobody has to worry about Micah Parsons going anywhere because that's how much you value.
You just know this. I'm so proud since you think that much of him. Please say it often, because we do have him, and we're proud of having him.
You said you're the GM when you're negotiating, and it's not the owner. Were you the GM when you negotiated Dak Prescott's contract, CeeDee Lamb's contract?
Yes.
Folks look at that and they said, had you signed them earlier, Jerry, you'd have saved yourself anywhere from $17 to $30 million, and the very thing that you're aiming
That's
to
a good
do
one.
in terms of building a squad. Jerry Jones' stubbornness has gotten his own way because he's waited too long to sign these dudes that he knew he was going to sign all along.
All
How
along.
do you respond to that?
That's a good one,
Jerry
Steven.
Jones is smarting for some of the ones that I signed too early and didn't see how it was going to pan out talent-wise or injury-wise. And so one too early signing can wipe out one, if you signed it too early and bet wrong, that can wipe out waiting on 2 or 3. So the best thing to do is be the option quarterback and play it out to the end of the line, and then maybe not pitch the ball then, either play action and drop back and throw it, or basically pitch it then at that time. I do like to go out to the end, but that's kind of a personal characteristic.
That's
everything.
a personal characteristic.
Push back on him a little bit more.
In the National Football League, particularly when a team like the Eagles, the reigning defending Super Bowl
Yes.
champions, operate differently. The Chiefs might operate a little bit differently. The Patriots historically might have operated a little bit differently, and it's worked for them because
Well,
the
he gonna
Super
go back
Bowl
to the
titles
90s.
to point to in
He gonna go back
recent
to the
memory,
90s.
Whereas that has not been the case for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, we've been dealing with salary caps for a long time now.
Okay.
My first 4 or 5 years, you didn't have one, but we've been dealing for caps for a long time. And like I've told you, while I'm not in any way anything but disappointed, we haven't been to a Super Bowl in almost 30 or whatever the time is. I don't even want to think about it, so to speak. But the point is, we haven't been to a Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
The point is, the same thing is alive and well in this cat that got us to those other 3 Super Bowls as to whatever contribution I made for that to happen. It's alive and well with what I do everywhere.
He dodging,
That's how
Stephen
I
A. He dodging.
And I've had some nubs drawn
Oh my
back,
God, who
way
the
I operate,
hell
but then I've had
cares?
some successes. And so I'm not going to question the instincts. What you do need to know is I will change. In terms of I do change.
That's word salad.
If you don't change the mirror, then
You're going to change. How you going to change, Jerry?
I do change.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking how. I'm just asking how. I need you to tell me how you think you're going to change. I got to hear this.
If the porch has lost a step, I won't step on that lost step but about twice before I realize that I need to jump over it rather than go over it.
He didn't answer the question.
If you work for yourself and you're not willing to change, then who's to change? So yeah, that's the practice you have when you're self-employed.
Let me get specific about another player, Dak Prescott. Is he the answer? Is he the man that can deliver you a Super Bowl championship? I'm counting 2 playoff victories in entering his 10th year, Jerry. That's what I'm counting.
I not only that, I have my actions to prove it. That's what all the deliberation was about for a 2 or 3 year period when we were working through whether to have an extended 3rd contract. First being when he was drafted. And that's what it was all about. To see, and we got another year to look and see about Dak, see about his availability, see about his how he is progressing. And that's what we got to do. And so we got to see, although yes, if you said that, you paid Dak more than if you could have rolled that same negotiation back. But we had the opportunity, and he'll be the first to tell you. And by the way, it does take 2 here now, not just 1. It takes us and it takes the player to agree. But we did this, perfect example, with Dak. We couldn't come to an agreement. He plays. In the meantime, we saw him another year, his 7th year, his 8th year. Boy, we see him doing things, continuing to improve, and that Dak Prescott hasn't continued to improve. We see the age factor, which you may imply availability, injury, that type of thing. But we watched it. So you can rest assured that with all of any warts or all of anything you can think about, when I made him the highest paid player in the history of the NFL, that I thought he was the guy that gave us the best shot to win
I know what you
Super Bowl.
thought.
It would have been madness
I know what
for
you
it
thought.
not to be.
But I'm asking you what you think now, because he not only signed a $160 million deal, then he came back and signed a $240 million deal. The brother signed for over $400 million. Jerry Jones has signed those contracts for him, and you don't have but 2 playoff victories to show for that. I'm wondering how you're looking at him today compared to how you
Oh, I got to see Jerry face.
before you signed those contracts.
Well, let's say this, contracts, just say, roll the clock forward to this time last year. So how am I looking at him today as opposed to this time last year? Because we both know what I was thinking this time last year.
He
And
wins
I
during the
thought
regular season.
He could take it, but it could come that he can take us to a Super Bowl. I think he can take us to a Super Bowl. And I feel strongly about that. But I had to look at it and I had to think about it over the years, just as he had to think about whether he was going to sign
Dak
with
Prescott!
a long-term extension. But we had to look at it, evaluate it. I finally said, look, Dak, we're getting the benefit of his experience, we're getting the benefit of his leadership, which, my goodness, is off the charts. But we're getting all of those benefits as opposed to going out here and starting new or starting with someone else at the spot. And that's why I did it. We didn't do it the year before because we couldn't come together. Sound familiar, Michael?
No, it
Okay,
don't.
we're having a tough time getting together. Okay, so did Dak not play? No, we played. And so the point is, has a contract to play. We'll go at it again sometime in the future if that's the case.
George Pickens is here now. You've got CeeDee Lamb, your wideouts.
You
2
must
elite
be out of your
wideouts as far as
goddamn
I'm concerned, with Dak Prescott healthy, because when he's healthy, we know he can win some games during the regular season anyway, because the brother can throw the football. We get that part. I imagine even with Brian Schottenheimer as your new head coach, as opposed to him Mike McCarthy being here, because he's no longer here and Brian Schottenheimer is here, how are you feeling about your offense overall right now, considering the personnel that you have in place?
Well, I want your meter for you when you're talking about Lamb and you're talking about Pickens. I wanted to jump up there when you say Dak, you got Dak, because I'm going to answer your question like that. We do have Dak Prescott. We do have him. And that's what encourages me, the fact that we've got him, he's healthy. You're unquestionably, we've helped him with Pickett's. There's no doubt that it's improved our opportunities that are out here. I like the fact that Schottenheimer is going to be running the offense from the head coaching position. A lot of people question that.
I still question
There's
that.
a lot to do there,
Right.
a lot to do. Here's a guy with 30 years of experience. Okay, he's been in this league 30 years.
And he's been here, but he wasn't calling plays.
But he has called plays before. But here's my point to you. He had osmosis, sat around the table with Marty Schottenheimer, had all that
That's
going.
fair.
Okay, what we're gonna get is, he ain't Brian no more. He's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And so what you see when you get your shot to go, I believe in that. I think that ups the level of performance, competition, focus, all of that. So I think we got a great opportunity to have someone with that experience coming in as a new, inexperienced head coach.
What's needed from a head coaching for Jerry Jones? There's a lot of people that bring that up, and they say Jerry Jones wants his fingerprints on everything and he'll get in the way of a head coach. I don't know whether that's true or not, but that is what a lot of cynics and critics say. How does Jerry Jones respond to that?
Watch how he skate off of
Are you
this.
an asset or an impediment and a liability to whoever your head coach is?
Not so. A definitive no. No getting in the way, okay? How about leading the blocking so that he's got more room to go and to grow? First two coaches that I was involved in ever hiring, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer. My college coach said, Jones, I've had 2 genius IQs in my history here at Arkansas, and you sure as hell aren't one of them, talking to me. But Jimmy and Barry were smart. Word I'm looking for is very intelligent, highly smart. Do it differently, but very, very intelligent, okay? Bill Parcells, sharp as 7 tacks. And I mean,
Keep naming them. Keep naming them.
So my point is,
Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett.
I look at compatibility. I'm not so sure that's the answer for. I just, I think I do better when I'm around smart people. What does that tell you?
Okay.
And I'm condescending when I say that. I do. So first of all, I look for somebody that's got some real good sense and smart in a lot of smart is in a lot of different ways. And then I look for somebody that's got a reason, wants to show them, and I really do. That's big to me. I want me somebody that's been in a foxhole, not just shot at, but hit. If you can have somebody that hadn't lost their fire, hadn't lost their motor, hadn't lost their wanting to show them, and they've been shot at and hit, that's who I want in there with me. I knew it in the first 2 because I knew Jimmy and I knew Barry personally. But I like the shot at and hit stuff, and I think Schottenheimer's got that.
But that's a very valid explanation as to who you pick as your head coach and why. It still doesn't answer the question about Jerry Jones, and let's use Jimmy Johnson as an example. Just inducted and just entered into the Ring of Honor a couple of years ago, okay? Some people felt that it took 30 years, which there was no excuse for in anybody's eyes because the man delivered the back-to-back Super Bowls and along with yourself resurrected the Dallas Cowboys franchise. So they used that as evidence to point to that Jerry Jones and his stubborn ways. You cross him,
Shout out to
tick
you,
him off,
LG.
you agitate him in any way, it's hard for him to let go of. And sometimes they find themselves wondering about whether or not that level of frustration can transition to a player, particularly as we consider what's going on with you and Micah Parsons at this moment in time.
I have a hard time. I do. I really have a hard time. And I know that this is too plain to say it, but I have a hard time with loyalty. Loyalty. And I know that's a interpretation too.
Oh, really?
Loyalty could be, look, in order to shoot your foot off, I had to do that to protect your family. And I'd say, but you shot my foot off, you weren't loyal. Okay, well, I was trying to protect you. I get it. I get all this stuff. But loyalty's a big deal. And plus, there's an issue of literally just, I actually saw a great coach one time say about Jimmy and me. They grew careless with their relationship. And that stunned me. Grew careless with their relationship. Early, boy, you were tight because things were rough as a cob.
Legion 254 Super Chat. The Washington deal is a Debo rebate IDK. Any team gets that deal. They take each other disgruntled players for cheap dating back to Trent Williams.
That's good stuff, man. Appreciate you for your support.
So to speak, early. But then that fraud called success steps in there, and we get to thinking maybe it's that way. You can call it selfish, you can call it anything you want. I used to have a deal on my desk that said, if you're willing to give others the credit, you can conquer the world. Okay. I spent a long time today early talking about what I went through, at least in my mind, and how I dodged the bullet of being shamed for the rest of my life buying the Cowboys because it gone to hell in a basket, okay? There's no question that that scar from that scare caused me to lose some of that. Oh, come on, let's kind of make it work and let's make it go. Now, keep in mind, Jimmy and I had known each other since we played football all through college together and that type of thing. Jimmy didn't even have a contract. He came from Miami, and we were months before we even did a contract.
Yeah, I remember.
Didn't even have a contract. Right. And when we did the contract, Coach Landry had been here for all those years. Well, when we did the contract, it had Cowboys on it. And I looked over there, and it was 10 years for Jimmy. And his agent was sitting there. Nobody said this wasn't asked or anything. And I reached over there, and I personally guaranteed the contract. And I said, Jimmy, the Cowboys aren't worth the paper they're written on. I don't know if they can pay this or not. I can. And so I guaranteed the contract. We had a great relationship for this task. We had a great one. So again, too much there, but yeah, I don't, frailty, whatever.
As you relate it to today's world, is that a roundabout way of somebody being able to say this about Jerry Jones? This man is convicted and addicted to the way things should be, as opposed to the way things are or have become because of a new generation and just the way people might think to do things. Is that a fair assessment of your thinking? Like, there is a way to do things, and I'm never going to deviate from that.
Well, I really think you may have touched on the age-old separation. Experienced, old, maybe a little more level-headed with some experience, and then the brash, be damned with how it used to be done, I'm going to be done. There's so much need to have that young, the hell with it, we're going to do it, and I don't care, it might not be the way it used to be. I believe in that so much, and I think we have, I know I've benefited from that right there, okay? And so I don't dismiss new ideas. You know, I talk about being with my family, my children.
Right, right.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that I was 46, old man Jones at 46. Well, my children were about 25 to 30 at that time. It was their ideas so often, their execution so often, that I get a little credit for. And I'm not even a question about questioning whether or not the youth, bright idea, new idea can get the job done. Matter of fact, I encourage it.
Before I let you get on out of here, one of the things,
thank God, come on with
national TV, and I've said this, doing my homework, things that I can't even repeat, and I've said this to a lot of people, a lot of critics of yours, the things that you have done for so many people, people don't realize it. We can't talk about it, we can't reveal it, can't tell other people's business, but you have done so much for so many people. That's one of the reasons that I've been on this whole Micah Parsons thing so much. I'm like, beautiful young brother, smart, superstar caliber player, wants to be a Dallas Cowboy, always said he wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy. to see what appears to be friction and stuff like that, I'm looking into the camera and I'm saying, Jerry, so many people have been saying you have done so much, so good for so many people. Don't let something like this situation right here taint anything about you and what so many of these players mean to you. Because people are looking at the Micah Parsons situation and saying, if you can't take care of him, what the hell does that mean for so many of the rest of us? What do you say to that at this point in time?
Well, I'd say you're wrapping a lot into the Micah Parsons situation relative to
that's fair.
The fair. That's not where I am mentally.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest living, breathing example of standing on other people's shoulders. I have had help from the time I had wonderful parents. I've stood on the shoulders of coaches. I have stood on the shoulders of business people. I have had them sign my notes for me when they shouldn't have signed the notes. I've asked them to help me pay. I have had more help to get where I am than anybody living. So nobody appreciates having deference and giving a little grace if you're in a negotiation. Nobody could appreciate it any more than that if this is called for here. And when I say grace, grace is not just forgiving them, grace is forgiving them plus giving them something, obviously. And so what I'm trying to say is, it's alive and well, what you're talking about right here. And it's alive and well in this situation.
America's team, the gambler and his Cowboys. Is that the message that you want everybody to walk away with when they think about this series, when they think about you? What do you want them walking away thinking about?
Well, that it never is as pretty as America's. It never is that pretty. There's a lot of, in this case, how close it was to go the other way so many times. So fractional, just space between failing and going. Since 1989, when we got involved as a little adjunct, we've probably been in the greatest economic boom this country has ever seen. We've had some downs, but in general, since '89, it has done that. Now, I had that all figured out, didn't I? That I knew if I laid it out there and just was naked in terms of vulnerability, just because I wanted to be involved in football, this would all take care of me. Well, you had to have something like that. Well, that's getting to be a part of a good system too, to make that go. But the main thing you're asking here, do I think that I practice grace, or do I think that I practice deference to a player? You've talked to him. Tell me. Yes, I do. I do. Because if anything, looking back in this docuseries, it just reminds me how many holes I got. It really does. And I'm not trying
he got holes
any way about it, but as one guy said, he's pretty flawed.
How many holes are you gonna have if Micah Parsons ain't on your defense this year?
Well, we didn't have him last year for about 4 times, and it wasn't pretty. It's not pretty, but we've had him out there when it wasn't pretty. And so he's got to be out there with 10 others. And we got to have some offense to carry the ball too. It's all got to go. That's one thing for sure. This isn't a one-man show.
Is he going to be there week 1? Is Micah Parsons going to be on the field for the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I would hope he would be there. We've got a contract, and so I do hope he would be there. For sure.
And if he's not?
And he's not hurt.
And if he's not, because if he's healthy, but he's not on the field for you week 1.
That's his right. Emmett wasn't here either. And guess what? We still won a Super Bowl.
Emmett wasn't on the contract.
He came back.
But while he was here, it didn't knock us in the dirt enough not to win the Super Bowl while he wasn't here.
Last question.
Please raise your voice and put that good hell when you talk about we won the Super Bowl.
Listen to
You
your
won the Super Bowl. You won the
listen to your
Super Bowl,
master.
man. Last question on a different note. NFL owning 10%, reaching a merger with ESPN, owning 10%. What are your thoughts about that? How does that benefit the NFL? How does that benefit ESPN? Your thoughts?
Well, I'm very limited because we haven't done it.
Finalized
We
yet,
haven't done it yet. But one of the greatest things that's ever happened for the NFL is exposure. The fact that we've been free and so many people have watched the game over a period of time. A lot of sports went the other way with pay, had a lot of pay involved in it, baseball and others like that. The thing that I give the most credit for the growth in the NFL being where it is today is the free aspect of it, free television. We say, well, ESPN has some freight. They all will have freight. Every medium will have some freight with them. We can't work if we don't have a little freight. I'm talking about advertising or things like that. But I'm excited. First of all, I'm just excited, always have been, about ESPN. But more importantly, this will get us more involved with people in certain areas that are more proficient than the NFL was in those areas.
As in the NFL Network?
Yes.
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 Very, very last question.
Damn.
If Jerry Jones, 82, turned 83 in October, my Libra brother, that's what I always call you, my Libra brother right there, turned 83 in October. If we're sitting here in a few years talking about you as the greatest business owner in the history of sports, but there's no Super Bowl championship to show for it.
You got 3 already.
In recent memory.
Okay, all right.
Since 1996. How is Jerry Jones going to feel, and how does he feel others should feel about it?
Well, am I on Earth or off Earth when you talk about that? One way. Am I around or not when you're talking
God
about it?
damn.
I'm gonna
if
say
I'm not here, I'm not going to care.
Okay.
And
All right.
if I'm here, I'm going to be very disappointed,
Right.
but I'm going to be looking forward to next year. I promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
And probably even more desperate to do unconventional things. And the one thing I've looked back and look at some of the times we've had our most success was when I did, on the face of it, some unconventional things. And so sometimes you ask yourself, well, surely I'm not about to try to get smart doing this stuff. And there's no question it's unconventional to do some of the things. Looking back through that docuseries, looking back at those years and what have you, there's some unconventional stuff involved there. And a little of that, a little gambling.
Jerry Jones, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
You're easy.
Yes. I try to be.
Yo, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free at last. So y'all can stop sending me messages that Jerry Jones is live with Stephen A. Smith. Law, Jerry Jones is live. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. So now we can focus in on the real conversation that rules the nation, man. To me, good interview. But to me, the Michael Irvin interview tops this one about at least 50 points, man. I get it. Stephen A. Smith, he seems a little timid. He didn't really attack Jerry like I thought he would. And Stephen A. Smith, all of that talk that you were talking about Jerry Jones being racially motivated, he didn't bring that up. I wonder why, huh? But neither here nor there. Jerry Jones, one of the things that I wish that we could talk and push back on was the simple fact and the strength that he didn't bring up these points. Like, yeah, you talking about everybody got the same money and these sorts, but how come every single year we are the only teams that's talking about pie, splitting up this and splitting up that, got to save money? Because if I'm not mistaken, one of the things and the reasons why you didn't pay CeeDee Lamb early as you should, and the reason why you didn't pay Dak Prescott earlier as you should, is because you yourself said that we got to make money and make sure that we got enough money to pay Micah Parsons. Let me know if I'm wrong. And now that it's to that point, and we are at that line of paying Micah Parsons, now y'all move the whole argument back that we got to pay somebody else. So it's one of those things, whereas this is an ongoing situation, and it's already brought to my attention that, yeah, whenever they said that they were having this negotiation, this was back in March. January, February, March. Here's where I put some of the blame on Micah Parsons. The ultimate trust that he had in himself, walking into the real lion's den, the shark area, the bear cave, and getting ate up. Then retrieved to go run to his agent, and then the agent saying, hey, I got you, Parsons. For that to be rejected and blown up in his face. Troy C says, listen to Denzel Washington. You're right. And here's the truth. I get it. When you're youthful and when you're young and you're naive to a degree, you believe in yourself 1,000,000% that you can handle things, you take on things. And he probably went in there with one intention of saying, hey, if I get to the table first, I'll get this deal done and I'll be happy. Jerry probably looking at that like, yes, I got me one today. I give him the highest paid guaranteed contract for that time of March. I give him parameters of this particular contract. We got this negotiation done. Send it over to your agent. The agent reviewed this and says, man, you can stick that up your ass. You know, basically, allegedly is what the agent said. Now, there's been a count in multiples accounts of people who absolutely talked to David Mulugeta. As it relates to Ryan Clark, David Mulugeta said that he didn't say those things. Now, Jerry is a real salesman. This is not his first rodeo. And we do know that salesmen, they would tell you the moon is made of cheese. Now, if you fool around and buy the rocket fueled and find somebody to get you that rocket, to get to the moon, and you get there and you realize, oh my goodness, this is a big rock. He lied to me. Well, you done already bought it. How many people been shut out of a situation whereas you went in knee deep into the situation and now you're responsible for it? To this day, there's people watching right now that got burnt by co-signing off on a car, and that person is left with the note. So many people watching right now and got apartments and stuff in their name, and they come home early and they realize that their Swedes getting squeezed by somebody else. But hey, it's in your name now. You can get mad, you can throw out all of the stuff you want. Your name is on that contract, you know, and that's the reality of it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, there is living house that you preaching to the choir. Yeah. And this is where we at. And we choose and pick sides. But when you're young, oh my goodness, you don't see the evil parts. You want to enter in as if though the owner has the best intentions for you, which he will definitely take care of you. He'll definitely take care of you as long as you're winning. There's a certain player, look. I ain't gonna get into that detail again. You know, Energy Plug says, Law, what happens when we pay Micah and still don't win the playoffs? Is that still Jerry Jones' fault? And that's where the best segue to go into. Other teams pay their guys, and it's not the Super Bowl or bust. Myles Garrett got 1 sack in 3 games in the postseason. Nobody brings that stat up. But people know that Micah Parsons got 1 sack in 4 playoff games. Nobody's going to bring up TJ Watt's playoff records, right? Shout out to him. He should have been on our side. Nobody gives a dog about Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, or any of those Bosas of what they did in the postseason. And knowingly that the 41ers, they got multitudes of help. Nobody cares to this degree that CMC, Christian McCaffrey, got a boatload of money, right? Unbelievable checks. They're not bringing it up on the 3-letter to 4-letter network saying that now ultimately the 49ers got to win the Super Bowl. And even to this day, they just signed another running back. What's the whole point of playing CMC? I'm using that as an example. Shall I continue to use others' examples, Swayze? Just name me anybody. Just name me any team outside of the Eagles, and maybe you can throw in the Kansas City Chiefs. No other team is given the situation that if you pay the player, ultimately now you got to win the Super Bowl. You must win the Super Bowl. You got to, because damn if you do, damn if you don't, because at the end of the day, as great as Aaron Donald is, one of the most dominant players in the National Football League during his time, his dominant ass couldn't win it by himself. They damn near had to go get the Avengers. Now, can y'all put that up for debate? So that means that, yeah, you need a complete team. You need to will and deal. You just can't win off of one player alone. And you got to be crafty with your contracts. And I get it. When you have confidence and faith in something, even scriptures, if I can biblically say this to you, it states, enter the throne boldly with grace and mercy. That's when you have ultimate trust that the grand creator will take care of you, not advantages of you, by the way. How boldly are you guys to enter into something and not understanding what you're entering into is a forever commitment to what you're entering into? Yeah, and Aaron Donald made the play to win the Super Bowl. This is from Neek. Yep, but he wouldn't have been able to make it. So name me the team that we had close to what we seen out of that Rams team. From a player-to-player evaluation aspect of it, we're still arguing as a fan base over Mozzie. They went and got Sue. They went and got Ashawn Robinson. They went and got multitudes of guys that Mozzie wouldn't be able to tie their shoelaces to. But we still, as Cowboy fans, are arguing over Mozzie, arguing over Tyler Guyton, arguing over Schoonmakers, arguing over Kelvin Joseph when he was here, arguing over this and that. We never been on the focal point of, hey, the focus should be on the Eagles right now. Yeah, Nick says, I like Mozzie. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Mozzie. But what I'm getting at is that overall, we fight and argue about useless things that's not going to propel us to win games. And if this team is really, yeah, they had Von Miller too. Yeah. Odell Beckham and them, you know. Dre Maddox says critical thinking and analysis skills no longer exist. You're right. Gary says Jerry Jones has had bad drafts. So when people say, yeah, let's go get 2 first-round draft picks, let's go figure out X, Y, and Z for not Trayvon Diggs, but for Micah Parsons. What are we going to do with those 2 first-round draft picks? Lost soul is not the fact that Parsons do that or what have you. And that's part of the problem as well. because we are the only fan base that will look at a team or at a player and look at 13 to 14 sacks north of 90 pressures and say, that's the problem. He is the issue. Don't pay him. But other teams that's winning will add to that solution, not break that part down. They will look at, even to Mozzie to a degree. I like my dog Okoye. I think that he's one of the better people to break down film and give analysis and all of that great stuff. But if you know what I ultimately know, you wouldn't be saying as much as what I want to say, because it will be a conflict of major issues. But what it is this right here, these strong truths. That Mozzie, yes, he may be good, but I want to keep him if he's going to be here, and if he's going to be any asset or value to this team, you would want to minimize his total snap production to anywhere between 14 and 15 and bring in a veteran so that we can be a better team up front. Not give him 60 snaps, 60 reps, or what have you. And that's the bottom line. Add to it. Don't take away from it if we're going to keep it. And that's the same thing even with people who say that Parsons, S-U-C-K. Because parts of the whole ideology when people say the Cowboys can't stop the run, well, you definitely won't be able to stop the run if you don't have true linebackers. And we just now paying attention to that part of the equation. Your front, take on the line. Your linebackers, peel, scrape, disengage, and fill. And this is not word salad, this truth. Law, can you bring up some film to back your statement up? Let's talk about another organization and franchise that value linebackers in which we could have had. And listen to the great Ray Lewis and Roquan Smith, who absolutely learned a lot under Matt Eberflus, who we may have a version and variations of that here, but we got to allow time to settle in.
The dip and rip is one of the most underrated plays for a linebacker nowadays. Look at his pad level. Up under, I win. That's old school football. Like, I don't even want to go to another play.
Listen.
If you don't make that play, look at this. Look at the gap.
Look at the gap.
He's one-on-one with your safety.
Such a great job by Roquan Smith.
If they didn't have Roquan there, that's a touchdown. People will be saying that the Ravens not able to stop the run.
I want you to pay attention to is his feet. Look at Kamara's steps and look at Quan's steps. Same thing. Because you want to mirror what the running back is doing. You play running back in high school?
Yep.
Of course. So most linebackers play running back in high school. So that footwork is exact footwork that we didn't practice our whole life.
Look at that.
Tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, get upfield, rip, disengage. You can't go into the last 4 or 5 years. One can bank on the fact that in the last 10 seasons that we had a healthy enough linebacker to be put on this team to help alleviate this run defense, pressures, and problems.
Tap down, easy play.
Joe Mixon flipped off his feet. Roquan Smith came knifing in.
Now that's it. You got to be careful taking this route.
If you take it, you gotta make it.
If you take it, you gotta make it. So this is a no-no because he's supposed to be over the top.
Listen.
Here. But he sees it play out and he took a chance. And if you look at this, look, nobody's communicating. So how can we play fast together? You can't. That's how you get beat on plays like this, right? If I'm having a real conversation with him, this is a young boy, right?
No doubt.
So you got to raise him, right? So you going to tell him, if it flow fast, stay backside, stay backside.
Stay
right?
backside,
We clean
fast.
up front side, stay backside. That way we cover. Like we got this.
Never try to block me with a receiver.
Never try to block me with a receiver.
Never.
I just want to see that from the back.
Pause.
Oh my God, 17. Get in the weight room, son. It's actually refreshing that there's still some type of physicality in football.
You're trying to send a message every chance you get, you know?
Every chance you get. The dip and rip is one of the most underrated plays for a linebacker nowadays. Look at his pad level. Up under. I win.
I win. So we haven't been a complete team on all levels. When I say that we are a top-heavy team, I meant that. But what we do is we focus on a Mozzie, on a Parsons, on a Trayvon Diggs, individually, and we focus only on one instead of doing our due diligence and say, Law, are we a complete real team? Do we have enough backups to solidify this team? What we are hoping on and banking on is that all of our starters remain healthy. Yeah. That dip and rip something else. Ain't that right? It is something else. Yeah.
The agent told us to shove it up our ass, and then David, John, went into detail a little bit more.
I have agreed to give more money than has ever been given in terms of guaranteed money than anyone ever has as far as a defensive player. I've done that. Now, I am the cat that writes the check, okay? Now, Micah's got 3 years with the Cowboys left. He's got 3 years. At some point, somebody has to have the say over the other.
When we put players on franchise tags, that set us back a year and a half. I can argue 2. The 2 times that we put DeMarcus Lawrence on franchise tags, that set us back. That's money that you couldn't prorate, you couldn't spread. We put that brother on a franchise tag twine. And then at the end of it, we ended up caving and giving him a contract. You can't prorate the money, you can't spread it out. It goes against the cap hardly, and you can't get deals done. We franchise tagged Dak Prescott twice. So we had $90 million. 30 of that $1 million went to Dak Prescott. You couldn't prorate it. You couldn't spread it out. You couldn't go get an extra player to help alleviate things. And now the spotlight is on him. You paid him the money. Now he got to win us the Super Bowl. He must win us the Super Bowl. He ultimately better win us the Super Bowl. And now you have the fan base divided like the Great Divide, the ice cream. We franchise tagged Dalton Schultz. We franchise tagged Tony Pollard. Those were contracts you couldn't prorate and spread the money out. These are all bad decisions based off of what the Cowboys utilized and used as it relates to bargaining chips, and you still have the Jones boys carrying the water and saying, Jerry, we love you, man. You're doing a great job. Hey, Micah, we don't give a dog. We just want to see you out there in the field. Let's not ask for your money too early. The man could have got paid last season, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'll be focused in and rooted in on how we can defeat the Eagles, who's hobbled, by the way. A.J. Brown, is he going to play week 1, Eagles fans? We create our own villains. Yeah, thank you, Jerry Carter. Yeah, it's you. Yeah, procrastinating. And 2 things can't ultimately be true. I'm not saying that David Mulugeta is innocent. I'm not saying that. Let me pull this up. Trust is just like a glass. Once it's been broken, it would never be the same. It would never be the same. Injuries are a part of the game. And, you know, I think that even the football gods step right on in every single time, even with Dak Prescott. You hassled, you went back and forth, you franchise tagged the man was on a roll, and boom, ankle busted into several different pieces, and you still paid him. You do the exact same thing. Just last year, you pay that man $60 million APY. Boom. Hamstring ripped from the bone and all of this stuff. Out for the season. No matter what I say, it may not hit you guys until about maybe 30 to 40 years from now. But we have 7 trillion cells in our body. And when you have stress factors that's at play, it builds what we call this cortisone level, which weakens the cell. And even though you say, how are you doing? I'm okay. I'm fine. But in the mindset, you going back and forth over contracts, negotiations, you're not putting and bringing forth your best efforts. It weighs on your cellular level. Cortisone level is building up. Instead of replenishing and replacing those cells, that levels of doubt pour upon you even more. And that's why you see a higher trend of when these guys going through these contract negotiations, that boom, injuries occur on a cellular level. And when it's put back together again, it's never the same. Once your name, people, we speak these things into existence. Believe nothing you hear and half of what you see. I agree with that. Now, my guy Computer, shout out to him. He says Micah Parsons' contract drama isn't just on Jerry. His agent David has a history of dragging out negotiations using leverage play that spills into headlines. Which is right. Two things can be true. Example, Deshaun Watson refused to play, forced to trade. Now, to be fair to that, he was getting masseuse. He was getting massages and stuff like that. Yeah. He was forced up out of Houston. Yeah, because of those allegations. But that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey demanded the trade, got dealt with to the Rams. And then he signed a record cornerback situation. Now, to be fair to Jalen, he won him a Super Bowl for going to the Rams. So I can't get mad at that one. But he did do it kind of like, hey, I'm going where the butter is at, baby. Jesse Bates, stalemate for 2 years, right? Stalemate on 2 years of his contract and free agency. And I think he's still looking for a home. If not, I think he's somewhere in Atlanta. Michael Thomas situation. Training camp holdout, never been the same. Hey, I guarantee you, Drew Brees would have said, hey, just pay Michael Thomas and get it done. Buda Baker, trade request, camp drama. Before the guarantees, Derwin James, Trinidad James, by the way, camp holdout, got a record safety contract. Yeah, T. Higgins, tagged, requested a trade. Left David Mulugeta, no longer with the team on that particular deal. But if we can't say that Rocky Arsenal is a better situation than David Mulugeta, because he's just an older David Mulugeta, in my opinion. Yep. We can do this over and over again with any with any of these contracts, especially as it relates to these agencies. But that's what I'm getting at there. Skywalker still states that if Netflix made a show called The Cowboys Contract Disputes, it'll already be season 10 with the exact same plot every year. Hey, jeez. He ain't lying. Oh, he ain't lying with that, boy. Yeah. And 15, Rock Nation was tagged on a contract dispute. In 2018 through 19, DeMarcus Lawrence, David Cantor. We had issues with David Cantor. Yeah. In 19, Rocky Arsenal with Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah. Held out contract disputes, and a la Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are signed under Arsenal too, by the way, in 2020 through 2021. Dak Prescott, Todd France. Boy, we be on season 10. Oh, man, Sky's right. We've been on season 10. Yeah. As the star turns, right? Oh, my goodness. So if it don't smell right and if it's not working right for you, Cowboy Nation, I'm going to tell you, we need to get in control of it. And the best way to get in control of it is just like your odor. Stay in control, be in control. Let's talk about control. And first and foremost, I'm talking about control body odor, and that's anywhere. And all you have to do is shop.mando and get $5 off of your starter pack, and that's over 40% with promo code LAW, shopmando.com. Let's go. I use this body wash odor control, full body control with Mando. They have the product here, and they also have deodorant that you apply under the arm for 72 hours of odor control. You want to be in control. And speaking of control, they also have the product that you can apply all over the body, the invisible cream, and it also fights for 72 hours. Look, it's all about being in control. And with Mando, man, they control body odor anywhere. All you have to do is shop.mando, get $5 off your starter pack. That's over 40% with promo code LAW, shopmando.com. Let's go and let's stay in control of your odor. I love it. No doubt, man. Be in control of your odor. Be in control of your circumstances, Cowboy Nation. The hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. That is the hotline for your mind, brought to you by RogueShop. Let's continue to roll one and RogueShop with us over here, Cowboy Nation, and everyone that's listening. With that being said, with that promo code LAW, you also we can get 10% off with RogueShop. That's LAW. Any given off season starring Jerry Jones. Oh wow, that would be a nice idea. Any given off season starring Jerry Jones. My only problem is will he live long enough to have 10 seasons in that particular situation? If you start up a new Netflix series, man, that's the only thing that's different. I got on the line from the 901. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by RogueShop. Talk to me.
Shout out Rock Nation. Shout out Cowboys. Shout out Memphis. Shout out Glorilla.
Yeah.
Shout out Hardaway. Shout out Grizz. Shout out Josh. Shout out Tigers. Tear the club up.
Yeah.
Tear the club up.
Yeah.
Tear the club up.
Yeah.
Memphis in the house.
Memphis, Tennessee, man. What you got for me today, bro?
I ain't got too much of nothing. Parsons is going to be there. But a question the media might want to ask Jerry, bring up the Aaron Donald analogy.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters, Jalen Ramsey, Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Floyd, all them pieces. And they made it seem like it was all Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Put some stars around Micah Parsons. Let him flourish.
Yeah.
Put some stars around Dak. Let him flourish. I think we're gonna be all right. But as we talked about in the past, I want Dak to walk into the season like Jalen Ramsey with the number one defense and a great offense. And that's all I got.
Oh, Hurts. In the house. Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Yeah. You're rolling, bro. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, fam. Yeah. Yeah. That's my guy from the 901. Yeah. Walk into the season with the number one defense. And that didn't happen overnight, by the way. I think Vic Fangio, he was a consultant for the Eagles in 2022. Ultimately, in 2023, he got another job with the Dolphins. He helped that Dolphins be a top 5 defense. And then in 2024, ultimately, the Dolphins released him and he went over back to the Eagles, and he still has some infrastructures there. So what I'm getting at is that it may seem as if though things happen overnight, but it don't, and it doesn't. And with that being said, they made a focal point on establishing the trenches on both sides, right? There's not a lot of wiggle room with us because we've been moving things around, right? And we pinned the tail on one player on offense, right? And one player on defense. So it's one of those things that we continuing to see the same issue day in and day out. Now, here's my thoughts on it all. We can't sit here with a natural face and say, yeah, Jerry is doing everything right and the players are doing everything wrong. Or, and vice versa, the players are doing everything right and Jerry doing everything wrong. It takes a complete team from above as below. And if we can really look at ourselves and say, are we assembling the best team possible to win, not just during the regular season, but for the postseason, we have to look into the mirror and say to ourselves, no. Now, we as Cowboy fans, Jerry bought the team in 89. I was 10 years old by that time. So I'm going to tell y'all, at the end of the day, I was a fan before he bought this team. Now, granted, I was blessed to be able to see the turnaround with this organization and beyond, but it's still a situation and scenario that this team, we are like a stick in the mud. We are not going anywhere, but we got flashy chains and all of this stuff. We doing documentaries. We doing this and that, and we're not focused in on the Cowboys. All right? At this time, I got my brother from another mother from the 908, Swayze. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Yo, Law, you born in 79? Let's get some of that hairline, bro. You don't need that no more, man. You look good for your age, boy. Oh, God, like, you can get some of that hairline, boy. Like,
no doubt, bro. What you got for me, man?
Again, Micah has no leverage. I just
no, you don't. He has zero leverage. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
He has zero leverage. Either you play or you don't get no money. If I'm Jerry Jones, my team is worth $12 billion if you own the team or not. I don't really care. I prefer to be on the team, but I don't necessarily care. In my heart, if Jerry felt like this team was a Super Bowl contender, like a true Super Bowl contender, he would have been got paid. They would have paid him, or it would have been more of a leverage if he would miss some games and we would have lost. Everybody knows.
Yeah, it's been 30 years, Swayze. It's been 30 years, 30 seasons. Every year we've been talking about Super Bowl contenders, even when we had no chance at it, especially with the Dave Campo 5-11, 5-11, 5-11 times. So, yeah, we were always talking about Super Bowl contenders.
No, but I'm saying like true, like of course we as Cowboys fans we always talk, but it's only been a couple of seasons within those 30 years where we actually as a collective we all felt like, all right, the talent was like 08. I don't remember 08 when Jerry paid Marion Barber, he restructured T.O., he paid everyone at once because we felt like in 08 after the success of 07, we felt like 08 was the Super Bowl year. We truly felt like that. It was like that 08 to 2019. 2022, like you kind of get what I'm saying. Those seasons where you really feel that way, and in our heart, we honestly don't feel that way. And you can't tell me with a straight face, with Micah or without Micah, we're going to lose to the Eagles regardless because we just don't have the talent. So what leverage are you going to get from an owner, or GM, or people who are around them that is already put in his ear that we're already not as talented to the Eagles. We are already top heavy. So what leverage do you really have? And like a franchise tag you for the next 2 years, and you're showing immaturity by your body language when you come to camp.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. This wasn't ultimately a leverage play. This was a guy that said last season that he wanted to get signed and get the deal done, right? And when the end of last season happened, right, in the earlier parts of this year, this is the same guy that was like, hey, I really want to get this done in good faith. Let me just go and approach Jerry Jones. And he didn't know that he was walking into the Lions' den. And that is exactly what happened. He walked right into the Lions' den. Jerry Jones thought that he had an agreement. And that's why he said, even in this Stephen A. Smith interview, like, hey, well, get your agent on the phone. Get your agent on the phone. And then when they showed the numbers or whatever it may have been, I don't know. I wasn't in that room. We don't know how much Jerry is ruminating right here. But And of course, you know, Jerry Jones, that's just what he does, right? He ruminates a lot. And we don't know to that degree of what all happened collectively, right? So it could be a situation that David Mulugeta did say, stick it up your a-hole, you right? Or it could be that none of this stuff happened and Jerry's just trying to sway the opinions of the popular, and that's by saying it first. And that's what he do. He's not a billionaire by mistake.
No, I mean, of course. I mean, I thought that was a figure of speech. I don't think he literally said "shut up, your a-hole." But I do think that Jerry, when he came back and said, "Hey, we already agreed upon on the number. We could discuss the details, but the agreed upon number we already discussed it and it's okay." And then I think that David probably went back to Jerry and probably told him like, "Hey, you didn't discuss it with me, so that contract that's already you perceive that's already a closed deal." It's not really closed in because you never negotiated with me, which is cool. But at the same time, we have to give Micah some accountability. That's a grown man. That's not I keep hearing people saying that's a kid. That's a grown man. He paid bills like everyone else. You chose to go to Jerry and negotiate. You could, at that point, number one, you should have asked some of your teammates like Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and got advice from them. That's number one. Number two, again, you did that. You didn't have to do that. You could have told Jerry, I don't want to talk to my agent, but you had that conversation that had a handshake deal, and I'm telling you, when it comes to older people, because I deal with older people when it comes to business all the time, when you handshake, an eye contact handshake, that means a lot. That actually means more than writing your signature on a piece of paper. So if Micah's handshake Jerry Jones with an eye and said, yes, we have a deal done on this specific number, and then Micah came back to his agent, and his agent was like, nah, I think you could be getting this, then Micah at the end of the day is wrong because he went back on his word. It doesn't now, if you feel like you got taken advantage of, that's on you to know that you don't have the goal or the skill set to compete with Jerry underneath the office. You probably can blow Jerry out in the field, but in it comes to offense and negotiating, that's not your wheelhouse. That's on you to have that big ego and lack of maturity to realize that that's not your specific space to be going in against a person that's been doing this for 50 years. That's
but at the end of the day, man, I get approached all the time. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand that even though you get approached by people with great ideas and great intentions, you have to have the wherewithal to know also that this is not good. This is not a great look. This is the thing that you got to walk away from. For example, Shannon Sharp, he got into a crazy situation approaching a girl that's 19 to 20 years of age. And this is just a different topic, but at some point and at some time, he have to understand that that's taking advantages of the situation. Yes, that person may be a grown-ass person by the letter of law, but you taking advantages of the situation. Jerry Jones took advantages of the situation by continuing to have that conversation piece with Micah Parsons. That's taking advantages. Hold on, I got a super
Charles,
chat.
$10. Facts law. I have been down with this team since 1969. I did not know anything about Jerry Jones. So I'm a fan of the team, period. Not Jerry. Yes, I have leverage over many. I witnessed all SB.
Yes, shout out to you, Sadiq. Appreciate you for your support. I really appreciate you. Said she's been a fan since 1969. That's a long time for your mind. And yeah, we all been fans. Most of us been fans of this team before Jerry Jones bought the team. So that's what I'm getting at, Swayze, that at some point Jerry knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but he knew what he was doing, but if you actually listen to it, and I think I had a smile in my heart because it was like watching a father and his son talking with each other. I love that Michael Irvin and Jerry Jones, just the interaction that we just don't have nowadays in terms of culture. But if you listen to him, it's really not by him taking the like that's just how he grew up. He grew up in the age where when men to men are having conversations about money and things of that nature, he felt like, hey, the agent, he works for you. You don't work for the agent. So let's come to a deal. Michael already said that, a couple of years ago that he don't have to be the highest paid. He already said that. That's on air. That's documented. What changed between then and now? So you went back on your word multiple times. You went on Twitter. You're having a temper tantrum, deleting all your Cowboys bio. Who are you, bro? You got.
He's Micah.
You only got one sack in the playoffs.
He's Micah Parsons, who's a guy that gets you to that particular point of when it's time to do that negotiation. It would be better for you to negotiate it with him last year, right? But Micah Parsons, yes, he's not faultless with this. I do agree with that part of it, but it takes two. And Jerry Jones saying if it takes two to tango, then he want to tango with two. But if Micah Parsons saying, hey, even though I know that you said it takes two to tango and what interest is best for me, I get all of that, but I got to have my representative ready. You can talk to the police all the time in the interrogation room, but the moment you mention lawyer, you're going to have to adhere for that lawyer being there. All that other negotiation piece, that cease. And that's the same thing to this degree with Micah Parsons, with Jerry Jones. Now, this is what Stephen A. Smith said in this 1 hour interview with Jerry. Ultimately, I believe the deal will get done. And we all agree with that, right? Do you agree? Ultimately, the deal will get done, right?
Yeah, it will get done, but it won't get done by week one. Right?
Yeah. And Jerry Jones saying, literally, I got 3 years over you.
Yes. Yes. He got 3 years. He got 3 years. He got this year, and then he can franchise tag him twice.
Now, by doing such, what benefits the team more?
I think it benefits us to franchise tag. I think we'd be saving money if we franchise tag him, to be honest.
And we save money by franchise tagging. Okay, so that means you can't prorate the money. You can't spread it out. That's a hard cap hit. And that is the same problems and issues we had with D-Law. The same problems and issue we had with Dak Prescott. The same problems and issues we having now with Micah Parsons. If you do that, you won't get the results that you're looking for. I got to get some water here. What'd you say?
My bad. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But we've been prorate. We've been doing the putting on your credit card for years, for 15, 20 years. We did that in the Tony Romo, DeMarcus Wade years. We did it with the Zach Martins and the
and what have been the results?
Now you want to do it again?
And what have been the results?
When we start prorating. We kept prorating.
No. I said you don't have the ability to prorate. You don't have the ability to spread that cap hit out. You don't have it. It's a hard cap hit. And if you continue to buy off of the franchise tag or allowing players to play under the franchise tag, that cripples your organization. It doesn't help it. And we got multitudes of years of back data, historical data that supports that, right? That this is not how you handle that. A team that just won the Super Bowl, they have tend to understand how to forecast their star-studded players early, and they pay them early opposed to paying them too late. And if you have a feeling that this player will not pan out, then it's better to move on from the player, trade him away, and get something back in return. Didn't the Eagles just do that with Bryce Huff? They paid some money for him. They moved some stuff around for him, realized that, hey, he's not the answer. Wipe your hands, move on. The Cowboys have the inability to do such.
You 100%. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you have to, like, these are our mom and dads. You know what I'm saying? We don't control who our parents are, but these are the owners, and these are the GMs that we cannot control. We're not getting rid of them. So we can only discuss on the possibility, what's the best outcome we can do in this particular situation. And also, I know you understand you're talking about salary cap.
Yeah, in closing.
This is a mom and pop shop. They don't have the cash flow like other ownerships who have about 50 different. It's an ownership group or a real estate investment group. We have about 50, 60 people that's involved in one organization, just one family. So I understand you're talking about salary cap, but we don't have the necessarily cash flow to actually, do the things that other teams are able to do. No different than Emmitt Smith. The reason why we didn't pay Emmitt Smith in time, they literally told you. You said I literally didn't have the cash. You got to know what I'm saying? So, I understand what you're saying. In a regular organization, you're 100% right. But we can only go about what we have now, which is a mom and pop shop. And in mom and pop shop, mom and pop ain't as official as other ownerships. It's those face-to-face, talking-to-talk situations. And I believe at the end of the day, the best interest right now, the best thing we can do as a Dallas Cowboys organization, based on what we have right now, the ownership regime that we have right now, we cannot be top-heavy. If someone opens up the phone and it starts with 3 first-round picks, you have to have a conversation. That's all I'm saying.
All right, appreciate you for calling in, bro. Thank you.
No problem.
No, that's Swayze. 3 first-round draft picks would not save you. I hate to bust your bubble. 3 first-round draft picks would not save you. Mozzie, Tyler Guyton. I'm just saying, you can look back at that deal from the Raiders to the Bears, right? They got a boatload of draft picks for Khalil Mack. Not to say that just because that fell on their faces, who is to say that they are willing to burn that particular thing? Because this is, and I got Rico and $100,000, y'all hold tight. Who is to say that, let's say the Cowboys do trade away Micah Parsons? Teams refuse to trade with the Cowboys because we talk too wise. We speak out of turn. We bloviate. Nobody going to sit back and say, hey, man, I don't want to get Minnesota Viking by the Cowboys. You see, people fail to realize when that whole trade deal happened, it came with also Jimmy Johnson's ability to coach and elevate, to also motivate, and to be that enforcer. That's the only thing that worked. So the Herschel Walker thing, y'all got to stop and move on from that. That happened decades and decades ago. Damn near 35 to 40 years ago. Almost 40 years ago. 35 to 36 years ago. And teams remember what you said when all of that went on. That's the last time the Cowboys had a winnable blockbuster trade that was heavily in our favor. The Joey Galloway didn't pan out. For us trading away stuff and trying to get things in return, or us trading for things, it don't pan out on the Cowboys' end. Even though we gave up picks for that, it just don't work with us because we talk too wise. We talk too much. And people will not give us multitudes of draft picks for Micah Parsons when Jerry Jones still have his strong hand saying, I hold the rights for 3 years. I would rather eat that versus trade that. Law, do you have any truth to that? Instead of putting Dak Prescott on the open market to be traded, I would rather franchise tag him. I would rather have the rights for that. DP says, who mans is this? Boy, you crazy. All right, I got Rico from the 984. You're live on the Nation, brought to you by RogueShop. Talk to me.
Can you hear me, Law?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Yeah.
First of all, man, I want to take my hat off to you, man. You, boss, all y'all good Cowboy content creators. The patience that y'all deal with low IQ football fans, especially in the Dallas community. I want to take my hat off to you.
Appreciate you, man.
I really do. You have the patience. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Second off, no, I'm serious. Because Cowboy fan, I always say, Cowboy fan make it hard on our own self. And like that wanted to get off the phone. You were patient with him, and you was kind. God bless you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could have been that patient and kind. But, going to the two things I'm going to touch on real quick. The Micah Parsons and Jerry. Both of them hold some fault in it.
Yeah.
Michael, Michael, when he went in there without that agent, he should have knew that he was stepping. He should have listened to Dez Bryant. Dez made it clear when he asked Jerry. He should have did the Dez or he should have did the Michael, but he didn't. He did the Michael, so he got to live with some of that. He got to make a mistake, and then Jerry should have look and say, should be a man that say, yeah, I did probably take a little bit of advantage of him.
Yeah.
And they both love this team. They both should be hold each other self accountable. Go get the agent. All three sit down and be adults and grow up and say, okay, I said this thing, you did some thing. Let's do what's best for the team. Because if both of y'all wants to win, you got to hold each other. You got to hold yourself accountable. That's all I want to say. Yeah. They both need to grow up on it. Jared need to grow up on it a little bit, and Michael.
And you know what, Rico, before you go into further details, all of this should have been kept in-house.
True.
These type of spats.
That's what I'll give you my next thing to get into. When you look at Dallas franchise, I compare it to the Lakers and the Yankees. First class, big fan base, make plenty of money. But the difference between them two, the difference between the three is the Yankees and the Lakers run the front office run as a first class. When the Lakers said they get LeBron James, every year they give LeBron his best shot to try to win. Giving up draft picks, signing players maybe who might not be that as good, maybe overpaying them to give the fans who we love the team that supports the team, because it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Lakers Nation, Lakers wouldn't be like that. If it wasn't for the Yankees being having that fan, they wouldn't be like that. Jared Jones, I realized that if it wasn't for all the love that the Cowboys have, his team would not be ranked like this.
Yeah.
Our money goes into that team. But as a fan, that's why I'm frustrated, because I look and say, look, I support. You got a big fan base. Why? If you had a fan base like Cincinnati, you wouldn't be like that. You had a fan base like Arizona, you wouldn't be there.
Right.
Everywhere Dallas goes, you got just as many fans at the Division Stadium as you do home stadium. So, Jared, you're not giving us, the Jones family is not running this team and giving us a true everything they got to win. Because they're not. And that's the problem. They ran like a mom and pop store, and the thing about it is, that's not a mom and pop store. That is the first. That's not a corner, a bodega on the corner. That's Macy's. That's Belts. That's a big name brand. Run it like a name brand. That's what Jerry and Steven is not doing, because they do not want to bring nobody in there like GMs and coaches that's gonna be smart and say, I'm gonna run it that way. And until that happens, Cowboy fans, we're not gonna do nothing. When Jerry won the Super Bowl, it was no salary cap. And people talk about all the draft picks, but look at some of the free agents we signed. Thomas Everett, Tony Casilla, Charles Haley. Man, we signed the whole gang. It was a lot of guys we signed off the street, but it wasn't no salary cap then. But now it's a salary cap, and the sad thing about it, Jared was the one who created it. And if you create something, you're supposed to be the best at it. And he's not.
Well, he created it so he won't have to spend it. You know what I'm saying? He won't have to spend the money.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So that's what hurts me, because what Cowboy fans are looking and say is, we putting our hard-earned money to come out there and support y'all every year. Yeah, even in 5 and 11 years, when we know it, we still come and love you.
Yeah.
We love you 110, give us 110 back effort. And then with the chips fall, just like Lakers Nation. When the Lakers spend big money in phrases and when it don't even work, yes, we upset about it, but the one thing we don't say about the Bus family before they sold it, and the Jenny Bus and Jim Bus was not rich owners. They were one of the poorest owners in the league. But they took that money that the fans and who invested in that organization and maximized it to the best of its ability. And that's what Dallas is not doing. And to Cowboy fans willing to hold the Jones family accountable, we're gonna be on this merry-go-round until the end of time. And that's why I said I'm being
but in closing, yeah. But go ahead.
JT, all y'all Cowboy fans crazy. I take my hat off to you, because I couldn't do it, because I would be so mad, because I'd be like D-Bird. I'd be just trashing. I'd be telling the God no truth. I'd be saying, look here, Cowboy fan, stop going for the wee-woo. Stop going for the Charlie Brown football, because until the organization change, we're going to come up short.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And stop holding players accountable and hold Jerry accountable, because they said this about Romo. They said this about T.O. They said this about Dez. They said this about DeWare. DeWare couldn't make impact sacks when he was there. He couldn't do that. And this is the sad thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that I'm going to let it go. I promise Cowboys fans, between Micah Parsons, C.D. Lamb, Dak Prescott, one of them three, is going to win a Super Bowl. We know what's going to be the sad thing about it is, they ain't going to be in a Cowboys uniform.
Buddy. Appreciate you for calling in, fam. Good call from you, Rico. Yeah, good call from you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. That's Rico, Cowboy Rico. Just to point out this right here, just to point it out, I want to pull this up before I let 100 grand on. It states here. Let me see if I can make it smaller here. I can't really make it smaller, but it states here. At the top of that list, it was Dez Bryant. There were people divided. With Dez Bryant, people got to quantify the fact that in 2014 we was coming off a nice run. That is not the time to pick war at your wide receiver who gave you the most productivity, right? Over 16 touchdowns, north of 1,400 yards or something like that. And he was the best wide receiver you had on your team, and he had to fight for his money. D-Law, the first 2 seasons that he had back-to-back double-digit sacks, people fail to realize. The reason why we drafted Taco Charlton is because of D-Law, because he was a guy that got hit with PEDs, he kept getting hurt and these sorts of things. But back-to-back years, he performed and gave us double-digit sacks when we drafted Tacos. Yeah. So my thing is, if you can't come up with a contract and agreement, it is better to sell off and trade off opposed to putting them players on franchise tags, right? Ezekiel Elliott in 2019, the Cowboys were divided on Zeke, right? Dak Prescott, to this day, we still talking about Dak Prescott. He was divided with the fan base. Zach Martin divided from this fan base. CeeDee Lamb and his agent Tory Dandy divided because some people were thinking that, yes, CeeDee Lamb is good. But I heard it, and I know some of y'all got a good photographic memory. Y'all was saying, yeah, he good, but he's not a Jay Jetta. He's a slot merchant. Y'all was saying some of the things that the Eagle fan base was saying. And then, yeah, he's no Jamar Chase. He's not worth it. Move on. The fan base divided. And now we're singing the same song and dance with Micah Parsons. Oh, man, he's an off-ball linebacker. Oh, he's an edge rusher. And it goes back and forth. So what incentives are we laying out for Donovan Ezeraku? What incentives are we laying out for Marshawn Nealon, right? What incentives are we giving for these new and young guys when you got to fight like hell to get paid here? And the drawback was earlier today, I was listening to 105.3 The Fan. Shout out to Bobby Belt. He came up with a great point. He says normally when these players get into it with Jerry and they're signed up under a certain agent, when it's time for that agent to approach them with other players, lo and behold, those players don't sign back with the team. So you can damn near, if this thing sours, you can damn near book it if Pickens goes into a crazy great year that we finna have the Pickens series next season, off season. And I hate to speak that into existence, but that's the pattern and that's the trend. Why we can't see that? Or we refuse to understand that. All right, I got my guy from the 201. You're live on the Nation Talk to me, 100 grand.
Man. See, people say, oh, these guys, man, they billionaires putting people on these high standards because of the amount of money that they have. Mm-hmm. And that just goes to show you money don't mean anything. Right. Money don't buy wisdom. Money don't buy foresight. Money don't buy understanding. Money don't buy caring. And I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
You can have the money and lose it all tomorrow because you don't have no wisdom or understanding.
Yeah. Come on with it.
If he had wisdom and he had understanding, he would have realized, you know what, Micah? Let me talk to your agent.
Yeah.
Based off the rules and based off the fact of him understanding as the so-called adult in the room.
Yeah.
that you're dealing with a little kid that don't know what I know. So let me talk to somebody that knows what I know so we can get this done the right way and not try to take advantage of a kid.
Yeah.
People say, and let me tell you this. Age don't make you an adult either.
Oh, come on with it. All right.
Because there are a lot of you know, and I know people that are older than us,
right,
that act like 5-year-olds. But we're supposed to lean on their understanding and the things that they say because of their age. No.
Yeah. And 100 grand. Money may answereth all things, but the love of money is the root of all sins. I know people, man, that make $35,000 a year. You would swear to Bob that they make 180 because of how they move, right? And I know people that make 180 to $200,000 a year, and they scrambling and scraping, bro. They borrowing and they hurt. They don't got no money. You know what I'm saying? They make money, but they don't got none. They poor, you know, and people tend to put billionaires on that high pedal, right? Stool, right? Or millionaires to that degree. But these things are realisms, and you're speaking the absolute facts, bro. Keep going. Keep spitting.
But you said that, but why are you saying that, Law? Because they have wisdom and understanding about what to do with that money.
Right.
If you don't have wisdom and understanding, and where's foresight going to come from if you can't understand where you're at now? You're not going to have that. You have to understand. I have $1,
right?
But if I work with this 25 cent, it might not be what Michael and Chris got down the street.
Yeah,
but it's something.
Yeah.
I can last longer than Mike and Chris down the street because Mike and Chris down the street is trying to compete with the Joneses.
Yeah. Let me say this, though. Let me say this. Anthony says, y'all fans are idiots. Do y'all know a bunch of players fired the same agent that Parson got? Okay, so he said a bunch, right? So let's play this game, okay? If we go back to like the original statement that I was making, right? And these are all under the accounts of different agencies. Dez Bryant had Rock Nation, right? Still the same problem. David Cantor is D-Law's agent, still the same situation. Rocky Arsenal is the guy that literally T. Higgins fired. T. Higgins fired David Mulugeta for Rock Nation, for Rocky Arsenal, I meant to say, right? Todd France, Tom Condon, Tory Dandy, now David Mulugeta. Now, what is the known constants of this? What is the look? What is the common denominator of this 100 grand? Educate me, help me out, right? Like, help me out on how we are considered idiot fans and low IQ people when all of these guys got different agency but the same problem. Break that down to me. Talk to me like I'm in elementary, bro. Help me out.
Basically, the agents don't matter. You can get any agent you want.
Right.
It's still going to be the same problem because it's still the NFL owners not wanting to give you ultimately what you're worth. And it's going to be a tug of war either way. So that's the issue and problem. It's not the agent. Law Nation could be the agent. We gonna be in here, man. Law bad, law da. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It don't matter.
It's just copy and paste.
Yeah.
It don't matter. It's still the same issue.
Yeah.
And then everybody said, I'm not saying don't get an agent, because if Micah would have went there on his own, and did it. Y'all know what y'all would be saying? Mike is greedy.
Yeah.
Mike is greedy. Ultimately, the owners don't want to pay you what you're worth because they don't know how to balance their own books to make it work with the whole collective. That is the problem. And then when they do have the money, it's still the same. They don't spend it right because they don't know what they're doing because they don't want to hire people that ultimately know how to do the job because they're so concerned with getting the credit instead of winning.
Man, before I let you go, bro, I talked to multiple people that works within the confines of the organization. These people, they work for the Cowboys, but they get paid dog water. Look, y'all don't have to take my word for it. The next time y'all at the stadium or the next time y'all around any Dallas Cowboys employee or somebody that work with the store, pull them to the side and say, hey, man, just personal, man. Hey, man, how much they paying y'all, man? Dog water. It should be a privilege working here with the silver and blue and the star. If they do the lowest like that, I can only imagine, even if they have the highest, what would they do to that? So I just look at the front office that this particular organization and franchise, they do only enough to get by. They don't put and bring forth the best efforts, but they like to showcase that, hey, we got the shiniest toy. We got the $3.5 billion playpen out here in Arlington, and we got the $2.8 billion workout facility out there in Frisco. And that's just for what it is. People be surprised of how cheap this team and organization is collectively. But neither here nor there.
And what you have to understand, too, is people fake it till they make it. We lean on that $12 billion that the Cowboys is worth. But that's not liquid cash.
Yeah.
That's an invaluable race of the sponsors and all of that. Take the sponsors away.
Yeah.
That money is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because of the sponsors. I'm sorry. It's not because of the fans.
Yeah.
There could be no fans in the stadium. That's not going to hurt the Cowboys.
Never.
Nike hurts the Cowboys. Bank of America hurts the Cowboys. Coors Light hurts the Cowboys. That's what y'all have to understand. As long as they're still there, the Cowboys aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Commanders owner had to step down? Because the sponsors left.
Yeah.
The sponsors left.
Yeah. It is what it is, man. Hey, I appreciate you for calling in, 100, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, man.
Good call from my guy, Not to mention, Law, players pay for their own meals. This is Walker Wade, 627. Yeah. And this is not, like, I'm not cracking and beating up the Joneses to that degree, but I am, because if you got people, and I seen someone say, well, that's their choice. Yeah, I get it. All right. And I get it. You get an opportunity you should be able to take it. You should be able to say, hey, I'm working with the silver and blue star on, and there should be a privilege. There should be more that I can counter and leverage and move on with my career. But here's the other problem. You got people that's validated, that got credentials, right? But by them being such an archaic way, they would hire family members or people that's within the confines, and that's everywhere, but you see it more in mom and pop businesses, right? That running the show, that people are more qualified to be in that spot. They can't get there because that they can't move on, even because somebody's willing to take less money to be here. And that's staffing 101. But it goes to show you that same mindset also trickles down to the pro levels, right? So I get it. I'm not sitting out here. I'm a free man. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. If they decide to work there and do that, yay, that's on them. I get that. But I'm just telling you how it is. And I know that these are things that a lot of people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. And the dog they get hit with the brick yelps. But I'm telling the truth. The only way and the only reason why those cheerleaders got a 70% increase or raise is because somebody spoke out. And all of those people that's working down there, they too scared. They too scared to speak out because they're not independent. They don't have their own mouth. They are scared to hell to say, hey, I would like to make a little bit more money for my services. And they know why they so scared? Because they say, okay, you like to make a little bit more money, there's the door. We'll bring in someone else to fit that seat. But if you get somebody like me, I don't give a dog. Because my worth is my worth, my value is my value. I don't need them. They don't need me. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be Law Nation. I don't have Dallas nor Cowboys in my name or brand, but I get it, right? I'm a Cowboy fan. We're going to talk about this. But my love affair for the team is not going to go out the window. Like I said, he's been running this team since 1989. We haven't did anything since the 1900s, basically. 334, you're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Yeah, Law, man. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. Hey, I'm doing great. I can't complain.
Okay. I just want to. I'm just gonna be like 1 minute, Law, but I like everybody to watch a movie called The Django and skip from the beginning of the movie and go to the end of the movie where Calvin is talking to the German guy and he says a deal's not done till we shake hands. And I feel like, Jerry wants to win, and I feel like, he don't want nobody to feel like they got over on him.
Right,
or got the best of him.
Yeah,
you know
true
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
so I'm
true
just
that.
giving a little analogy. But I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, and it just hurts me because I know deep down things ain't gonna change, man. Things ain't gonna change. It's just gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse and worse. But being optimistic, Micah gonna get paid regardless.
Yeah,
he gonna get paid. It's just a matter of time. It's just when. It might not happen when we want it to happen, but it's gonna happen. And that's it. That's it, Law, man. Have a great day.
Man, appreciate you, fam. Appreciate you. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But at what cost is what I'm getting at. It's what I'm getting at. The truth is the hardest pill to swallow. Is basically what this segment is about. We can argue left and right about this and that. But at the end of the day, we don't care. We just want to win games. We got a game today. Do the Cowboys play today, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know in the chat. Do the Cowboys play today? And what we talking about? There's people, regardless of the situation, this would probably be their last day ever putting on silver and blue and a star on the side of their helmet. They fighting for a chance to be on this team. And we talking about contracts. Talking about money. And that's crazy. We got holes on this team that we need to solidify. Whether it is, okay, Mozzie going to be here, Jay Toya, okay, whether it's those guys, we still need some reinforcement down inside if we want to make a deep run. We need extra help at cornerback spot. We the only team right now gambling with the ideology that Zion Childress is the answer, an undrafted guy, which I'm not putting that against him. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. I get all of that. But the odds of us just dominating with those scraps and pieces are very thin. But what people going to do is they're going to sit here and say, since we are top heavy, they're going to name the top players that normally get voted in as Pro Bowls, and we say, look how many Pro Bowls we got. It's like putting rims on a car without getting the oil change, without doing the rudiments of flushing your radiator fluid and flushing it out when it's time for the maintenance and the updates and the upkeeps. But we got the shiny rims. Oh, man, that car must drive super good. Law, there is a clause in the NFL that can force owners to sell the team. Jerry is, I can't say that loudly, but you put that out there, and there are tapes of him using the N word repeatedly. Now, I would say this, though. If there are tapes of him using the naysayer word, then that's the quickest way to get that brother canceled real quickly, even though he's in the state of Texas. And it would have been out by now. So that's a lot of alleged stuff. And I'm not here. Look, here's my thing with Jerry. We know that he got SA allegations that he got to appear in court next month, and he's going to push for a continuancy to push it back further probably, right? When you got billions of dollars, you can do that, right? Here's my thoughts on that. I'm not looking at Jerry the person individually, but I'm looking at Jerry the owner and the GM. That's what I'm looking at. And the way that I'm looking at it is that you can't throw rocks and hide and say, well, we can't afford to pay this or we can't afford to pay that, when we can literally see that other teams that paid their quarterbacks, that paid their running backs, that paid their star-studded wide receivers or defensive players, that they find ways. They find solutions. They don't drag this out. I get it. Each and every year, it's a one-off every other year, right? That a team may have a guy to hold out. But there's been a continuancy. Yeah. Reynolds says, one more time, Law, who is right, Jerry or the agent? I use an analogy that who was right when the lady was arguing from a biblical aspect of who child it is. One would say, that's my child. The other one would say, no, that's my child. And when the king said, slice the child in half, and both of y'all can have that child, the real mother said, you know what? Give it to him. Give it to her. Because she knew the damages that child would not survive being sliced in half. And when we look at this particular situation, Micah Parsons is being sliced in half. A third of the fan base or half of the fan base saying he's not an edge rusher. He don't deserve the money. Another piece of the fan base saying, hey, he deserves all of the money. When he gets the money, when he finally gets it, hey, they're going to be like, hey, you better win the Super Bowl now. That's what we're dealing with. And when we turn on the situations of other teams, you'll wake up one day. Oh, man, that dude signed to a big old deal. Ferguson didn't have to do none of this. Ferguson rolled up out of his bed in training camp, I believe, at the time when he got his contract made. And he woke up with $52 million to his name. Not one word was talked about, did he deserve this and that. Ferguson last season didn't have a single touchdown. One of his worst seasons ever last year. People was considering Ferguson to be dog water. That, hey, man, I literally heard people say Schoonmaker was a little bit better than Ferguson. And Brevin spanned forward. You think right now Ferguson is worrying about practicing, whether or not he's going to get his coins, his bag, his money? Ferguson right now is focusing on, hey, how I can beat the Eagles. It's crazy. I got from the 202, you're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
How about them Cowboys? Y'all.
How about them, bro? How you like them?
Hey, we got to change the tune. We got to change the atmosphere. Got to bring some levity here, but some observations that I got after watching your excellent content, by the way, from Michael Irvin to Stephen A. Smith. And I got to say, I don't even watch those shows anyway. I love yours because you bring everything together. But I'm just going to give you some observations. I'm not taking sides, although I've given Jerry Jones a harsh, tone and what he's done in the past. And he is a deity in Dallas. I mean, he is a deity in the football world, and that's what he wants. He wants no other worship, no other God but him. All right, but here are my observations from this. There's several of them. We talk about situational football. Well, there's situational business, right? You got to be aware of things. And when you talk about Micah Parsons going to Jerry Jones, and they communicated.
Right.
But I do not want to dismiss the fact that his agent knew everything at every moment. I do not believe the agent wasn't involved from the very beginning and even said, look, go talk to him, because that's how business is done with Jerry. So I just want to say, okay, so we have that situation.
Right.
Right? And I don't know exactly what happened. I'm not picking sides at all. I'm just saying that's situational awareness. And if that was me and I was an agent and I had Micah Parsons as a client, guess what I'd be doing? I'd be going right into Jerry's office and licking up that ice cream. Because I'm going to it's the best interest of my client to do so. It's not sitting back, but that's how it's about problem solving. No matter what we do in life, football, business, anything, the key to success is problem solving. And I don't see that here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you more than you could. When what you showed today with Stephen A. Smith, Jerry Jones is basically telling Micah, get your butt in here right now before things get crazy. But if you do come in here and praise me, and you divorce your agent, get rid of him, I'll actually give you more. He will give him more money than he was offering before. I can almost guarantee it because you are praising him. And that's what he wants. He did it for Dak. I don't know how he got $15 million more than the next quarterback, but he did it. Right? And then, but what it really shows us, though, is that there has to be a new business model. I'm sure the owners and the NFL and players are going to get to this, because you can't have these interruptions before the season, going into the season. You can't have these business decisions being held up that affect the team's success. You could actually say it's you could basically cheat on it. You're basically able to influence a game by what's happening here.
Facts.
And that is what I don't like about an agent, the ability, because Micah not being present at a game has that type of impact. But those are my observations. Just want to know what you think of them.
No. You great observations, man. Two wrongs don't make it right. Two things can be true. Overall, I think that the agent he's an aggressive agent. He's not like a passive guy, right? He's not a docile guy. So he's ultra aggressive, right? And we do know that Jerry, when you rub him the wrong way, I mean, he's a billionaire for a reason, right? I've seen people that's billionaires that say, okay, you don't want to sell your house, you want to move your house. Well, we'll still build our project and build it all around your house, and we'll squeeze you out, right? They do that, right?
Absolutely.
And he made more money than we can count. And this is probably just a game to him. But what we're saying is, as this game, they have results through this type of way and through this type of action. It's not a winning result. And by him going all the way back to 1993 3 and saying, yeah, man, the same situation happened to Emmett, and look how that worked. As much as I'm praising Micah Parsons, he's not on an Emmitt Smith type of level or impact for this particular team, by the way.
Right.
So it's just crazy.
And Emmett didn't have a contract, just to be clear. He didn't have a contract.
He didn't have a contract, right. So Jerry ultimately got the high card with this now.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He got 3 years. Yeah. 3 years of control.
And that's why I go back to the situational awareness. As a player or in business or anything, you got to be aware of who's holding the cards, what your weaknesses are, and everything else.
Right.
And that's why I'm putting some blame on the agent. Again, that agent's going to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And if it's the best interest, I know what you would do, I know what I would do, and I'm sure a lot of the fans would do the same thing. You're going to solve the problem. You're not going to hold it out. For what? You think $1 million or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. If he's giving him a contract in detail that's similar to a Myles Garrett type, this should be all over with.
Yeah.
This should be done. So that's why I'm speculating. I don't know the true facts, but I gotta base that on the agent, because the agent should be right into Jerry's office and say, let's get this done. Let's get it over with. You got games to play. The other players are depending on Micah, and that, I hate to say it like that, but the agent has to go. You have to go see the king sometimes,
Yeah, but from information that was told to us is that Jerry Jones was sending him to voicemail, right? And when he called, he said, "No, I'm not speaking to him." So it takes. Jerry very crafty now, He says, hey, if you really want to get this done between me and you, it takes 2 to tango, not the third person. You don't need to add the other people in this. This is between you and I. And what Micah Parsons is saying, yeah, I get all of that, right? But I need to have my agent present. I get it. I approach you. I was wrong with it. I don't know what Micah Parsons is saying at that point, but I can tell you that based off of the information, it's only been one-sided, because we haven't heard Parsons speak and we haven't heard the agent David Mulugeta speak. So it's one-sided conversation. We only hearing this from Jerry Jones' point of view, and that's what makes this all kind of wonky, to this particular situation.
But Jerry has made it clear, as the owner of the team and the GM, he's saying that David Mulugeta has burnt his bridge. He's not welcome anymore.
Yeah, but before I let you go, Big, I'm just going to say this, though. If I'm giving you the highest guaranteed money for defense, basically, or non-quarterback pay, right? Why would you then in return say, hey, I want to be traded. I no longer desire to be here. Why would I say that?
I mean, that I get it. That's a negotiating ploy. That's the way I would look at it, because he loves the team. I mean, unless he really meant it, I don't know.
Right.
But I would, if someone doesn't want to be on the team, because that's like family. The team, the players as well. I mean, they love each other. That's how you're going to win, and you're going to win a Super Bowl. You have to at least you have to bond like that. So I don't know what's really going on in the behind the scenes. And if he really wanted to be traded, I mean, that would be a sin, in my view.
No doubt, man. I appreciate
love the
you, man.
Cowboys.
Thank you for calling. Yeah.
Yeah. And how about them Cowboys, y'all?
How about them Cowboys? Great conversation. All right, so when we say, but you guys got to understand the timeline. And Jerry is right at that point. But the origins of it is that you got to figure out, when did Myles Garrett got his particular guaranteed money as far as guaranteed contracts. You got to figure that part out. You got to. Because you can sit back and say, yeah, I gave Micah Parsons the highest guaranteed money. That offer was on the table. When? Because by you moving slow, and remember, I said the Cowboys, yeah, they probably do good deals, but they move slow. Was that before Myles Garrett? Yeah. It was before TJ's? Huh? At the end of the day, this reminds me of this story. This movie was shot many moons ago. It was called The Book of Eli. Denzel Washington played in this movie, one of my favorite movies. And most of the people in this movie, this was after the world done got into a war and these sorts of things, and they burned all of the books in the world that's dealing with that particular topic as it relates to religion, right? Or the Bible. And there was one book that remained, and he had to travel the distance with that book so that they can go out and start printing the wisdoms and knowledge from said book. But there was one guy that understood the power of control that you will be able to have with the words within the confines of that book. The problem is that he chased and continued to fight to look for said book. And Denzel Washington in this movie had that book, right? Great movie. And his lady, the adversary in this particular movie, she was blind. She couldn't see, just like Denzel. He was blind and he couldn't see. In the book, every night he will read, he'll go over the book, and he will understand and try to get as much as knowledge as possible. Money at that time wasn't really a real currency because they had no use for money. But what I'm breaking down is that sometimes you would chase for something for so much, and you would disregard the life that you are living for what you're chasing for. To get something, in return, you will find out that you are killing your own self for something that you can't even obtain. Because the adversary in this particular movie, right, or the person that was against Eli or the book of Eli or Denzel in this movie, did anything and everything in his power to try to receive it, but he didn't understand that he had wounds. He had problems. And by chasing, when it got down to the end, and when he finally got the book, the damn book was made in Braille. You had to be understanding to understand the way to read in Braille in order to receive the message. And the very much so, the person that could help him out, which was his wife or his lady at the time, she was blind and she knew how to read Braille too. But by him destroying everything, including her, and being crazy, including her, by being crazy to them, the people that he needed help with the most turned their back on him. And she told him, boy, you chased at the end of this movie. She said, boy, you chased and you did all of that, and you didn't take care of yourself. Yourself is dying. The wounds that you didn't take care of is killing you. You're running a fever. What I'm saying is that we chase these players so much, and we want to get the deals that's done so much, and we lose out on the players that we could have obtained. We chase, we want the deal done. We want it done our way. We want to scramble and scrape and get everything for a deal. And we miss out on the main message. And the main message is we're supposed to work as a team. We're supposed to be on the same page. We're supposed to be able to work together. Instead, we chase. We don't make the necessary the necessary sacrifice. And for year in and year out, we fall short. The truth hurts. Got the next caller on the line, and it is, let me see what we have, Point Dexter from the 409. What's on your mind?
Man, look, tonight the Cowboys have a football game.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's talking about football. Nobody's talking about projected 53-man roster.
Right.
You know, Jerry Jones does this every year. Last year, he did it with Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. Same
this
thing.
year,
yeah,
he's doing it with Michael Irvin.
Yeah.
You know, last year I made a joke about Stephen A. Smith being Stephen in the movie Django. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you gonna let him in the big house, you know, and it's the same thing with Michael Irvin this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hate that, you know, that it has to go to this. But one thing about the Michael Irvin interview with Jerry Jones, Michael Irvin, man, look, Michael Irvin had balls. And one thing that Michael Irvin said when he was playing, right, when the fourth quarter in the championship game, when he needs somebody to step up, okay, he said he could not tell that player to step up if he didn't tell him early in the season, if he didn't tell him through training camp. And this is what I'm saying about the Jerry Jones thing. When people say, oh, Dallas, it don't have nothing to do with Jerry Jones when it's championship game or when it's playoffs. Yes, it does, because this is starting right now.
Yeah.
We are sabotaging our season right now. You know what I mean? That's what Michael Irvin said. It came from his mouth. You know what I mean? As a player that's been in championship games, he said, this is the time when you tell people we need you. This is the time when we tell you we need you to step up. And Jerry Jones is stepping on that right now, because every year around this time, Jerry Jones goes on his world tour, you know, where everybody's talking about Jerry Jones. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever.
Good, bad, indifferent,
and then you got a player, that's tossed in the wind. Right now, Micah Parsons tossed in the wind. Yeah, you might say when it gets to the playoffs, it's about the players. But they feeling that right now. They feeling right now that the ownership don't care about them. And just like you said, it doesn't go just from the top players. It goes from the top players to the ticket taker. You know what I mean? Jerry Jones does not care about football or the operations of football. All he cares about is Jerry Jones. You know, there's no other owner that has the cachet of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is a freaking movie star. He's a rock star. He's got a movie premiere. People coming out, dignitaries, all kinds of people coming out to celebrate Jerry Jones. Yes, I celebrate him for being a businessman and whatever, and this and everything else. But just like you said with the movie, you just talked about the Book of Eli, when you said money didn't really matter.
Didn't matter.
Well, this capitalistic system that's really a racist system that we really have right now, you think about all the money that came from the South when they had slaves, and they wouldn't even, after they abolished slavery, right, then we had sharecropping. These dudes here was making money, but they was playing the slave plantation money. So all the money was theirs. All the money that made was theirs.
Right.
You know, you thinking of years and years of people being put down that way, and you know that air that they have is still there. You hear what I'm saying? It's still there. Look, Lord, I really, you know, usually I come in, man, I'm pretty light. I'm pretty, just having fun, you know, about football. But it really troubles me because,
hold tight.
I said,
take care of this right quick. I got somebody at the front door. Take care of that. Take care of that. Okay. Keep talking. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Listen, it's really sad that we have a football team which we love that's being corrupted by so many different things that has nothing to do with football. I have no love for Jerry Jones. I respect him as a businessman and whatever you can. If you want to say his business story is great, then his business story is great. I remember there was a movie that I didn't really want to see because it was about Nike making money on the name Michael Jordan. It wasn't about Michael Jordan. It was about how he was manipulated to make this money. Now, all these players out here, they not, we say, oh, they making millions of dollars, but we talking about millionaires compared to billionaires. They are employees of these billionaires. That was a great player that started free agency, and he had a quote, "A well-paid slave is a slave nonetheless," because those people had so much control over his life. They paid him good money. Everybody like, oh man, he's making the best money in the world.
I'm back, bro. I'm back.
The thing was, they still controlled him.
I'm back. Now, where are you, bro? What you were saying now?
I was just talking about Kirk Flood, making the quote that a well-paid slave is a slave nonetheless. Now we talk about these players and stuff about how much money they make, but they still controlled by these billionaires. Even though they're making a lot of money, they still under the same control. You hear what I'm saying?
I mean, you deal with system of control, but, I'm not going to compare this to any of that. But I get what you're saying as far as the similarities and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, because like I say, Kirk Flood was the father of free agency. You know what I mean? Which makes it better. You know what I mean? Because the system was really archaic before that. You know what I mean? Players do have a little bit more power now than they had then. You know what I mean? But the system still ain't the best system in the world. Now, Parsons has a contract, and, Jerry Jones needs, he could have did this a long time ago. Either you're going to pay him or you're not going to pay him.
Yeah.
Either way. We said the same thing with Dak.
I feel as if, though.
If you don't want to pay him,
I feel as if, though, in closing here, I feel as if, though, if you want to go back and forth with the – I would prefer, this is just me, I would prefer the Joneses to go ahead and trade them, you know what I'm saying, instead of having Parsons here for 3 years on a disgruntled, I got you under contract move, right? I would. That's just me. Now, granted, I love the Parsons. I love the family, Mama Parsons, Brother Parsons, Daddy Parsons, all of the Parsons, Baby Parsons. We love them, but at the end of the day, my love for the Cowboys trumps my love for them. So I would rather for the Cowboys to go ahead and part ways, dust your feet off, and get something back in return, opposed to having someone that already announced that they no longer have the desire to be here and wish to be traded. That's the difference because a lot of people pulling up CeeDee Lamb's situation and Dak and all of this, they never declared that they wanted to be on another team, though. So these are different angles, Yeah,
but it's what Digital Underground say, all around the world, same song, and we listen to the same song. And when it comes to playoff games and it comes to if they make the playoffs and get into the playoffs, these are the seeds right now. Right. We are planting, what they say, we're planting tares right now. We're planting tares, and tares are not going to bloom when it comes to playoff time. You hear what I'm saying? The stuff that you do now resonates when the time comes at the end of the year when players have to have that fortitude to win games. Michael Irvin said it. He said it best. You know what I mean? If you want players to play hard then, you got to instill it in them now. And we don't instill that. We have chaos all during the off season, all during the preseason, and then all of a sudden the season starts. Now everybody got to go out there and play. It don't make no sense, man. It really don't. I love the team, man, and next time you hear me call, I'm going to be Poindexter having fun, making jokes, you know what I mean? Because I just love football, man. Parsons, the reason Parsons get adulation is because he's a great football player. The reason people talk about Jerry Jones is because of how he manipulates this team and gets out there in front of the media. And the Cowboys is a great story, so the Netflix thing gonna be good because we know it's a great story. But it ain't so much Jerry Jones; it's so much the team, the personalities, the championships and stuff like this here. You know what I mean? So it's a celebration of everything. But Jerry Jones gonna make sure that his face is on it. You hear what I'm saying?
Man. So let me hear you say it, bro. Come on with it.
The hell with Jerry Jones.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. What you're saying. This is ultimately Jerry Jones' team. He can. Tomorrow he can paint the stadium pink, right? That's not going to change our love for the team. He can make the players wear orange and red out there with the silver, without the silver and blue. I mean, it's not our way of controlling that. We have no control of that. We have no control of how he managed his team. This ultimately his team, right? And I get it. We fell in love. Some of us just fell in love before he bought the team, and our love wasn't even wavering then. But the results that he brought to the table is unbelievable as it relates to the 90s. But we have to also understand, with great knowledge of who Jimmy Johnson was, to help alleviate some of the ill wills of what Jerry Jones did, right? But, I got from the 214, I have Darius in the 626. You next after Darius. You're live on the Nation. Talk to me.
Hey, normally, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Normally, man, I don't even waste time or brain cells even talking about the whole Jerry Jones and the ownership, because it's like it's not gonna change. It is what it is, and right. I'm also never one of the people that's gonna be like, hey man, until this change, we ain't gonna win nothing. I hate it. I swear I hate when people say this. Like, bro, it's not gonna change. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate. I ain't go into that. But like one of the things, like I'm very like the only word I can think of is duplicitous when it comes to Jerry's, because like when you go to the Star, like when you go to like those little facilities around the Star, you see how hospitable he is. First door kind of taken aback of.
You got bad connection, bro.
Oh.
What you say?
Is it bad?
Yeah, it was bad, bro. Keep going.
Oh, is it good now?
It's better now. It's better now.
Okay, cool. But like when you go in there, it's like, damn, can I go in here? Like, can I touch that? Because it's like it's so grand. So it's like you see, it's two sides of Jerry. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like it's a give and a take with that. It's like
and Darius, and let me clear up some things, because this is not something that I want people to come off as, of what I was saying, that some of the people are not paid properly, right? Yeah. These are things that people approach me with, right? Not that I approach them with. But hold on, we got a super chat.
$10. Yeah. Can we please talk about how we gone look today?
Yeah. Milton, we definitely gonna sway that over to that part. Maybe we had to shut this stream down and open up another one when we do our pregame. I'm still gonna give pregame show, postgame show, and live play-by-play. And Jerry, DP says Jerry won't even put up the curtains. I just wanted to clear up something, Darius, is that when people say those things, this is not me taking a target at them for working for the Star, right? But these are people that expressing their feelings on how they are getting paid. This is not me trying to advocate to start a ride here in Dallas. But go ahead, Darius. Go ahead.
Can you hear me before I start?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you pretty well, bro. You sound good.
Okay, cool. But like, yes. So the other thing I wanted to tell you was, I appreciate you, because I had requested a song, the second run of that song. You've been playing that song ever since.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And the other song I'm really looking forward to this season, The Fight Started, Baby. Get back on your 2 feet, go get that done on content. Well, I can't wait to hear that. I can't wait to hear that song, man. And overall, I mean, I'm excited, about this preseason game, and I want to see who's gonna play, man. Overall.
Yeah, yes, indeed, man. Me as well, man. I'm just ready to see Jadon Blue tonight, man. Hopefully he get enough touches and attempts so it can really get my eyes in tune to what I truly believe that this team can become, right? I'm still on record. I think that this is a 10-plus win team, They're going to have to win now in spite of the front office, right? Because if they refuse to go get those other pieces, it's going to be a detriment to us. Also, I got a chance to talk to Brandon Tucker. So next week we should have him in the building, especially going over some of the things that we need to talk about as it relates to Mozzie and beyond, and as well as this defensive front.
Can I say this last thing in closing?
Go ahead.
I'm preparing myself for a slow start this season. I want to beat the shit out of the Eagles. I truly do. I truly want to beat the shit out of the Eagles, but like I'm preparing. It seemed like we may be one of those teams to where we heat up later in the season. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be patient with this coaching regime because I feel like we're building something special, and it may not take all the way form right now, but eventually it will. Like if you look at guys like Dan Campbell, Kyle Shanahan, they kind of had slow starts. You know what I'm saying? But once you see the elements of what they're building, we can be patient with that, and we can, get behind that. I didn't mean to.
You spitting at us, man.
So that's pretty much it.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the 214. There's Darius right here in the heart of Dallas, man. It is for what it is. I got the next caller from the 626. You in the mix. Talk to me. Holler at your boy. I'm live here with you. Talk to me.
Law, how you doing, brother?
Man, well indeed, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm calling from Los Angeles. I have a comment and then a question for you. And I'm not on Jerry's side at all. I wish Jerry would already assign Micah. But as we look at it, the fact is Micah's under contract. And then what good is the franchise tag if you can never use it? These players won't even let the ownership use it anymore. Now they're holding out. They're not participating in training camp or anything like that. So Jerry really has a point. I got him for 3 more years if I want him.
Right.
If I really want to franchise tag him.
Facts.
Now, how I look at it, I'm sort of with you. Like, we ought to trade him now. And so my question to you, Law, is I listen to your show and you got some great content. What kind of player? Because you figure he was going to give Jerry, he was going to give Micah 40. So it comes out to about 13 point something million. I'll go get me 3 players. I'll go get me 2 linebackers and a defensive tackle at $13 million each. What kind of players, like, could you throw a couple names out there, knowing the game like you do? Who's getting paid $13 million as a defensive tackle? And who's getting paid $13 million that are some linebackers? And I run with 3 of those dudes and take those stats and put them up against Micah's any day of the week. That's just where I am. Maybe that's not the smartest thing, but that's how I'm sort of looking at it right now. And I'm just going to hang up, and I'm going to listen. And thank you for taking my call, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in from L.A. to live and die in L.A. All right, so the quantity versus quality, right? I wish it could work that way. Whereas, who will I trade for? First, you got to find a dancing partner, right? Someone who's willing to pay Micah Parsons. When the contract first negotiation started, I think it was like at 32, 34, give or take. But I was waiting, now it's 40. Now the guarantee money is spilling over too, right? I don't know who would be as of such services at such a younger age. So you probably had to get someone that's a little bit older to fit right on in. Maybe that's something that I don't want to rush to give you that answer there. But I do know that this team will be better with Parsons, right? But if you take Parsons out of the equation and you say, okay, I'm going to get me a bona fide, solidified D tackle, the Cowboys first and foremost got to believe in defensive tackle. They haven't showed us in the last 30 years that they value defensive tackle. But if they do, who could y'all consider? Because I think defensive tackles, good ones, is still going to run you about 16 to maybe 20 million APY, right? So you can't get a real good D tackle at 6 or 7 million, right? And if you're looking at it from a linebacker point of view, I think we okay at that. The time to move for Roquan Smith was in 2022. We didn't make that run, right? The time to move for that running back for Derrick Henry was a year or so ago, right? So I don't know who we can go get and split that contract into 3 ways to add value. But I do know for sure that this still is at play right here. This still is at play right here with Micah Parsons. It is easier to build around versus taking away. For example.
Hold on. You have a choice. You can have the boat or the mystery box.
What, are you crazy? We'll take the boat.
No, not so fast, Lois.
Not so fast.
A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those.
Then let's just...
We'll take the box.
We'll take the box. You gave up a boat for free tickets to a crappy comedy club.
Come on, Lois. You're acting like this is the first time I've ever done something stupid. You remember the time I was supposed to get that boat? A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those.
Then let's just...
We'll take the box.
Yeah. So that's where we at, you know. Yeah. State Pay said they ain't getting their defensive tackle law. They just won't do it, right? They won't do it. You still, who can give us edge rushing? Donovan Ezraku? Is it Dante Fowler? Some people would say, hey, edge rushers are not that valuable. I heard somebody break that down. They're like, hey, these teams don't have edge rushers and they win in Super Bowl. The Eagles didn't have edge rushers. Well, I beg the difference, you know. They had guys to get around the edge. It's just that their dominant players, Bennett, Jalen Carter, and the other guy that's went off into the Patriots land. And someone tried to use the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs don't have edge rushers. But Spagnuolo been there for years. It's not his first year. And George Karlaftis, he ain't no one to sneeze at. And I want to remind people that the Kansas City Chiefs had the number 2, number 3 defense, respectfully, plus one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. You know, so edge rushers are very valuable, right? So with that being said, it's difficult moving on from a guy. It's better to build around him versus taking away from him. And that's just my opinion. Right? That's my opinion. And I'm strong with these opinions. That's even applied to Dak Prescott. I would wanted the Cowboys to go ahead and trade and move on from him versus dragging it around and keeping him around and holding on to loose ends. That's just my thoughts. And I got hate mail from it, but it's just for what it is. We got here, Philly D says Happy New Year starts on September the 4th. We got uncertainties, right? So does the Dallas Cowboys, basically. All we know, we kick off a new year shortly. Let's make it a great new year. Yeah. Hang them banners up, and also don't forget to hold that L up, huh? That what we looking for right there. Holding that L up. Philly, we hoping that y'all hold that L up. Come on with it. But I got the next caller on the line. List this caller from the 971. You're live on The Nation. Talk to me.
What's going on with your family?
Not much, man. How you living?
Oh, man, kicking back, man. It's kind of hot where I'm at, so just kicking back and enjoying the weather right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What you have for me today?
How's everything going with you?
Yeah, everybody's good. Family members are great. One day at a time, game day.
Oh yeah, you ready for the night? Yeah.
Ready for the night.
What you think about it? Milton gonna is he going? I hope Milton have a good game tonight, so if he can go ahead and solidify this backup thing behind Dak, because I don't have no faith in Will Grier.
I think Milton got potentials, a high upside, but right now we're seeing the low sides of Milton. He's second guessing himself in the first 2 preseason games, But for those who witness his practices, he's been good at practice on certain things. But in the game, he's just been allergic to a few things, and maybe he overanalyzed some things. I don't know for sure. But hopefully tonight, just let him loose, let him run, let him go through his progressions a little bit, and let him make the mistakes, and hopefully we can see better football production from him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that he relaxed tonight and just come out and show out. Just chill, man. And it's too bad he can't get out with it with the ones. That'd be nice. But I'm looking for him to be the backup. So hopefully he can improve on his accuracy and just settle down and just read the coverage and then see where he wants to go and don't second guess himself and let the ball go and trust his arms. So he got the arm strength and just and don't overthrow. He will overthink. He's overthrow it, and he just need to put himself in a better position because I want him to be the backup behind Dak because I don't trust Will Greer. So I like his ability. I like Joe's ability to run when the pocket breaks down. I want to see more of that flash and bootleg Mississippi toss sweep.
Yeah.
If we can get that going. And I'm looking for the defense to make an improvement tonight on the run game. So, and hopefully they can clean up the penalties tonight. You know what I mean? So, they can get better. They can give us 5 penalties or less. So, Philly is shorter than almost 3 weeks now. We're two weeks away almost. Time is ticking. So, I don't really get into this Jerry thing, man. I'm tired of talking about this. It's a rerun thing. We've seen this we've seen this rerun for 30 years now. We knew this was coming. So, I'm just more about the team, man. We got to overcome and we got to focus on the team. We got to focus in front of us, man, and let and let this scandalous crap play out. But I'm looking for what are you looking for tonight, Law? What are you expecting?
This is the preseason Super Bowl for those who's trying to make a life, man, and to live in this on the third team and the second team. So I'm just looking for our DBs to make plays. I want to see Zion Childress to reconfirm that he is solidified as the slot corner. I want to see Jadon Blue. He's the guy that I'm really paying attention to out there on the field to a degree. I want to see more Phil Maffa. I need to see Tyler Booker. I don't know how the Cowboys are going to do that. If they're going to give the rookie another shot at just getting ready to be prepared to go up against Jalen Carter and all of those boys on that front. So I need to see that. As far as tight ends, if they can wiggle Brevin Spann forward in for a few snaps, I don't know if he's going to play tonight. John Stevens need to get some reps going. Trayshawn Holden, if he can blow up and do some crazy stuff again tonight, then that's something that we need to behold. And that's about it, man. If Andre Booth, if he is able to get another pick six, I'm going to find a way to get a Booth jersey, and we're going to give it away. Because, even though we don't really want him out there, but if that means that if he can be somewhat successful in these 2 preseason games, maybe we can do some trade bait with him.
Yeah. I'm worried about I don't know, man. They scared to spend money, get them a D tackle in here. Maybe they're gonna go with it, but oh man, I don't know stopping this run, man. Maybe they think they have enough once they get Michael signed. But I'm excited. I'm excited, man, for this thing to jump off, man. It's a lot of talk, now all the talking is over. All the talking is over. All the running off at the mouth. All the setting out is over. They got less than almost 10 days to, 14 days to get ready. No more sitting out. No more running off at the mouth. Just time to get out there and play. Time to put the pads on. No more running to the press conference. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. I hope that the rhythm is on. And with the first team, with the offense, this team did not get it. Got to remember, everybody got to remember, this team did not get no preseason playing time out there. So if there's any injuries, any kind of hamstring or any kind of injuries or any kind of rhythm off, they sat out during the preseason. They didn't do anything. And I don't know if it's going to hurt this team, but we'll find out week 1, Law. How you feel about that?
Well, TOP, man. Control the clock, man. Run the ball, play. Hope that your playmakers can get to Hurts, right? Force a fumble, force a takeaway. Hopefully Saquon Barkley is not into like mid-season form, and that's going to be kind of like a big stretch for us. And if anybody knows Saquon Barkley, it should be the Cowboys, right? They know of him. Right. But one of our biggest reservations, since we are an attacking style defense, there could be some areas that we need to improve at on certain things, that we could find ourselves in the same predicament that the Washington team found themselves in when they were facing off versus the Eagles. Saquon Barkley was averaging 15.5 yards per run. That's crazy, right? And that was against the Washington team last year. Hopefully that's not going to be us. Maybe we can slow them down. That would be the key there.
Oh, one more thing before you let me go. I want to say about this contract thing with Parsons. If these young men, they always taking pictures when they go in there and sign the contract.
Right.
They look at the contract. I call it an affidavit. Commercial affidavit is what I call it. I saw them do swear, and we do everything on uniform commercial code. Everything is already done on a code. Buy, trade, and sell. That's what that's how the whole world works. In the United States works. If these young men, if they do their research and if they start studying and they pick up some kind of book, law book, any kind of contract book, order some stuff online, how to negotiate, look at how to read the contract that they're putting in front of them is garbage. They got to learn how to read and study the language. And if they study their contract and if they study what's in front, they're dealing with money, okay? Our owner is going to try to get you for sure. Owner and his business is going to get you. They got to start studying. They got to start putting down the video game. They got to start putting down Instagram, YouTube, and doing the podcast. They got to start reading the contract and take it home and take their time and tell them to fax it over, email it over. Let me look at it. Give me a weekend or two to break it down. I can look at every word in the dictionary. If they have to, go buy you a goddamn black law dictionary, study the damn contract, negotiate between, watch the agent, watch the owner, study, read, and watch it themselves. These brothers have to start learning and understanding the terminology. Then they say, well, I don't have time for all that shit. Bullshit. If you got time to sit there and pick up these video games and do all this other stuff that you be doing, Twitter and X and doing all this crap, you worry about your money first and study what's in front of you. If you don't, your knowledge, what it says in the Bible, the lack of wisdom will destroy you. Or they got that some phrase in there that I got to go back and make sure I'm saying it right. But if they don't study, if they don't learn this, if they're in college, they got to take some kind of business course. They got to know what they're getting themselves into when they get into the NFL. And these players now, they got to understand what they're signing. Don't let that contract fool you. Read it and understand it and ask questions. Ask questions. And then they have to get another lawyer on the side. So hire a lawyer to look at the contract. Damn that agent. And then you can say, hey man, look, what am I signing? What is this? I have to learn this myself. They gotta learn this stuff and quit getting in trouble behind this contract crap. That's what affidavit is about. But yeah, man, that's all I gotta say, man, about these young fellas, man. I hope they tighten up, shape up. You see this, what's going on with Parsons, Dak, Lamb, and all the other guys coming up. So it is what it is. They got to start studying. And that's point blank, and it's not smart to be done. Right. It's just not smart to be done for sure. And that's what it's coming down to when it comes there. Behind these contracts, these brothers getting caught up with these contracts and the affidavits, and then they're getting fooled behind this money, and they're not winning. Right. These players are not winning. They're losing. And then what you mean by that? What you mean by Fiend JP? Check me out at Fiend JP show. I'll do a little show in about an hour. Got my shout me out low after this. But these players, look, he's not even on the field yet. Same thing happened with Dak and Lamb. They're not on the field. If Michael gets hurt or injured or something going on in practice or something, his body not ready. Yeah, he got to get in physical correct. In
closing, though.
Yeah, that's what it is. In closing, Michael's not ready. His body needs to get in football shape. and his legs are not under him, and his breathing is not there, and his pad level is not there. Him getting his stuff together on the field is going to be a lazy Micah, who's going to be in trouble in week 1. We signed him and throughout the season, and I'm praying that don't hurt. It doesn't hurt. He don't get injured or don't want to get injured, but it's what it is. But yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for calling in, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, Mississippi in the house, Brookhaven in the house. Hey, Brookhaven Law.
Brookhaven, man, in the building, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Hey, shout me out, Peanut JP on YouTube. Check my show out. Come about out. I'm airing a little bit. Hey, biscuits and gravy.
Yes,
I love you, bro.
Man, much love to you, fam.
Peace.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
That's JP, man.
Goodbye.
What he was looking for and searching for was 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thy self-approval, right? Until the Creator needeth not to be ashamed, and rightly divided the word of truth. You got to study. But even when you study, faith without works is dead. I get all of that. We understand all of that. You got to put in the work. And at the end of the day, Cowboy Nation, as we begin to depart, we will be back live for the pregame show, and as well as the play-by-play, and as well as the postgame show. I read in a book that a man should work by the sweat of his brow. Now, that's old words, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that, I'm the hardest working man, but I'm going to put in some work over here for y'all. And I know that there are many people who disagree with me on all of these things. And I get that. And I understand it ultimately. But don't take your frustrations out on me. I want what's best for this team. I'm quite sure Jerry, in his own mind, wants what's best for his family. He said it on many occasions. I built this for my family. Cowboy Nation, they say long suffering is a fruit of the Spirit. We got a lot of fruit. But we're not wavering. We're not folding up like wallets nor lawn chairs. And at the end of the day, nobody's bigger than the star. Not Micah, not Michael, not Jerry, not Dak, not Troy Aikman. No one is bigger than the brand, right? So at the end of the day, we just got to figure out a way. These players got to rally together and be like that knot on a rope. When the opposing forces start to pull on that knot, we got to get tighter. We got to be under that one sound points of it, right? We don't fold up like a car shade, right? I love that one. Now, I'm on record of saying that I truly believe, regardless of the situation with Micah Parsons, whether he's here nor there, that we can be victorious week 1, September the 4th. That we can be victorious on September the 14th. I got us starting off 2-0. Now it could be far-fetched, but I read somewhere and I heard a song that said you got to be hard from the start. You got to have heart. Oh, my bad, wrong song. But regardless of it, let's not get us too focused in on the wrong thing. The right thing would be stay paid. What is your profession? Too broke to pay attention. What is your profession? Dramatic. What is your profession? Gerard Jones. What is your profession? Yes, indeed, baby. Yeah. Come on with it.
Bartek, what is your profession?
Come on with it. And for those, I said this on the last one, and we're going to repeat it again. We're going to continue to repeat it again, Cowboy Nation. If there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view, unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices only turn those hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, oh my goodness, it was brother, I'll ride with brother, roll with brother. The morals of life: live, love, and respect for another. Ain't this right, Dion? Just Blaze, Tony. But then there are those who will try to be smart. You see, they would take that decent man to alter his heart, to seek to rip him apart. Ain't this right, Energy Plug? Those you should never call a friend or a fan, because they bend the lies around the truth to meet their end, to prove their side of the point, to expound upon the meanings that they say, that is 1,000% right, but not listen to both sides of the conversation. For the nation, is Parsons is at fault? Yes. Is my guy Jerry Wayne Jones, is he at fault? Yes. Because within the confines of these conversations, this should be kept in-house. This don't have to be news that's out there for the world, the four corners of this multiverse to hear. These are things that should go unsaid to the public. We all know that negotiations, they tend to get messy. They tend to get brutal. Sometimes you'll drive through a neighborhood when you're looking at a house and you see that for sale sign on it. You yourself, without a representative, you walk up to that said house and say, ooh, I like this one. But you don't know that house could be under contract. Somebody could already have an offer in, right? Or when it's time to negotiate the contract for that said house, you can probably get it lower. But the demand will always increase said house, and especially within the confines of the community. If you wait too long to close in on that house, yes, the original conversation of what you were willing to pay is something that you say, man, I'm willing to pay $620,000 for it, right? But the longer you wait, and you waited too late, and the market continued to increase, and now that same house that you said I'm willing to pay $620 is $820. But what happened to our $620 deal? Well, that was before these other houses in this community sold. So therefore, yesterday's price is not today's price. And what Jerry is doing, collectively speaking, is saying, hey man, I gave you an offer for $620. Now you want $830, $840, $900? You out your cotton picking mind. Unless you and I just work this deal out. No, it don't work that way. Iceberg Q. That's false. He said no property taxes in Texas law. That's false. We got extreme high property taxes in Texas. Plus, we got what we call ISDs, you know. There's no state taxes. But if it was me, let me pay state taxes versus these ISDs and property taxes out here. But that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah.
Take the money out, all of it. Come on.
State pays is, and our fans hate the truth. Our fans do hate the truth. But here's what I can say here in the party. The dog that get hit with the brick of truth. Yeps. And I come here with the truth. I do. And if you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold up everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, or lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the things you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold or the poverty or the famish or fame or the sickness of body or brain can turn you away from the things you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty, you will get it. It's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up,
stretch.
Thumb down, now check.
Come on.
No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no
Come on
rest.
with it. Got Shaderick Law, shout out to Laws, Tony, Bowleg, appreciate you. Come on, Mary Lon, thank you. Bobby, come on. All right. Shout out to you. All right.
I need 6 rings like MJ.
Come on, energy plug, let's get it.
I wake up,
Law,
thumb down, now
Nation.
drip this, tell 'em run it.
Ain't that right, you got us?
Sleep, no rest.
Yeah.
Might crash, might wreck, but first I
stretch.
Run it up.
Come on.
I wake up,
Come on.
thumb down, now check. No drip this, tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to
Philly.
I call up Nigeria,
Come on.
come through in a hurry.
I know you got it's
Those
gonna come
London
through.
boys don't come to play, you
All
should
right.
get worried. One false move, find yourself they getting buried.
He ain't lying.
That's
Come
what
on.
the devil used to love playing those games.
Yeah.
Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain.
Not mine,
I
Jerry.
made a promise to her, swore that I would change.
All right.
I'm on the come up, bet
Shout
I
out
live
to
up
you.
to
I
my
am
name.
awake. I wake up. We gonna take that trip out to Philly, man, and y'all better be ready because y'all gonna know our names when we come up out there, and y'all gonna fear us in the physical form. Let it be known we troublesome. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
No drip this, tell 'em run it up.
All right.
No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I
stretch.
Run it up.
All right.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you who said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all believe it. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that
What we tell him?
It's 1,000.
Take a.
This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online,
Again.
I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. But I need everyone standing up.
If Brian Robinson running the ball and not CMC, I'm good. Shout out to the 49ers for getting Brian Robinson.
I got you. And this one
Make the street lights.
baby,
Don't make him hit you.
bring them baskets.
Bring them baskets.
Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Easy.
Or Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason was running that rock, boy.
Take your phone.
Player 2.
On the bus. Giving his worship. Giving his worship. Giving his worship. Giving his worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just for y'all.
All of it. Come on. Wasting my time now. Come on.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too?
I follow. Come on, sing it in the chat. You go. Come on, sing with me. Come on, Energy Plug. You got it. Jerry, T-Jack. I am awake. Come on, hit that note.
If a paper crane can fly,
Come on, choir.
then forever doesn't feel that far.
All right.
So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly,
5,
then
4,
forever doesn't feel that
3,
far.
2.
So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly,
Shout out to you, Adam.
fly on.
Yeah. Sounds of soft souls and hits and oldies. Brought to you by Law Nation Sports. There you go, Dramatic. I know you were hitting them bars, man. I know you was singing. I know you was doing this Stay Paid, T-Jack, Dramatic. The next time, record yourself and send it in. Yeah.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
Come on with it.
It's not hard to fool me. Cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Yeah. Either way.
I follow.
Come on.
No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. To the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah. Susceptible time.
Peace.